Well, hello everybody, and welcome to today's show, Comics News Today. That's the name of the show. That's right. And we're going to be getting into comic stuff today, for damn sure. We're going to stay on target too, for the most part. And I always try to not get off on tangents. It's these guys that cause the trouble. But nevertheless, Eric, hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing just peachy. How are you, gentlemen?
I'm okay. I got coffee. It's a semi nice day, and I'm sitting with friends, so that's not. It
Cool.
could be worse.
V.
Could always be worse.
Could always be worse. And we're talking about beautiful Italian ladies. I'm okay with
I
this.
appreciate that. Yeah, I
I do.
appreciate the splendor and beauty of Italy and in its female form. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
absolutely, absolutely. That is a truism right there.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Let me come up and let me come over here. And I guess I got to go to this thing here. And I'm just going over and hitting the like button and sharing, and I hope you guys are doing the same. Let me see here. What are you doing now? What are you doing to me? Huh. Hmm. This is. I'm having problems. Your data in YouTube, is that what they're calling it? Yes, yes, yes. No, no. What are you doing? All right, I can't do it that way. I got to do it this way. Just bear with me. Go ahead, Thundero. Tell them about your day.
My day was absolutely splendid. Splendid.
That's good to
You see,
hear.
here's what I did with my day.
Hmm.
I wrote quite a lot. Got a lot of writing done, which is good. I need to stay on it. I'm trying to get this book done. And then I went and lifted for about a half hour, but did a real fast, hard pump. What I
Oh,
do is the gym I work out at is really, really small.
hmm.
So what I can do is I can go from station to station to station to station to station while alternating the muscle groups that I use, so that in between the stations they get a long enough rest. You need to give them 30 seconds to a minute between workouts, depending on each muscle group. So if you just did your shoulders, you really shouldn't go from a shoulders sets to another sets of shoulders. You should go from shoulders to triceps or shoulders to chest or whatever,
Sure. Yeah.
and get a little bit of rest in between. But the way it's laid out, I can just do a nice little circle, and I don't ever have to really stop unless I need to stop, like I'm out of breath or whatever. And I got a nice little workout in. Had some nice chicken sandwiches for dinner with some grapes and some apples. It's a good day. That's not a day you can complain about, right there.
I had a little workout this morning too.
Mm.
Hmm.
The fun kind or the not fun kind?
Oh, the fun kind. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
It's
that's
always
good.
nice when your woman wakes you in the morning. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
That's good times. I also today my new mic got here. It's nice having an Amazon hub literally 5 minutes from my house, because sometimes I get things literally the next morning when I order them the night before.
Yeah.
Um, so I have my new mic now. It sounds infinitely better. I tested it. There's far less noise and distortion coming through. So that's a plus. And what I think I might do, we'll see. This is obviously I wanted it to have for this as well, just because it's a better mic. But also, I might start, once Bleach comes out in earnest, start reviewing it. Start doing reviews of it on like my own
Very
channel.
cool.
I could easily do that.
Sure.
And yeah, I think it'll be good to get out in front of that, because I'm hoping it's going to be very successful again. So we'll see.
Yeah. No. No. That's cool. It does sound good. Over here in the chat, we got Roger Heller. We got Roger. We got Lady Celtic Moon. She said hello. Hello. Roger said he loves me too. Aw. And so splendid
Hmm.
so splendid knowing that the Democrats voted for the infrastructure bill in secret. Of course they did. So you think it's the first time, dude? Why do you think you have to pay the IRS? It was done in secret by the Democrats 100 years ago. Yeah, yeah. On Christmas Eve, no doubt.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
no less. Sorry. But anyway, Eric, do you have anything to report, interesting or sexy or any of the
Uh,
above?
no, not really. I mean, it was just a typical day. I came downstairs, listened to the dogs bark, to
That's
work.
good. That's good. Yeah, yeah.
And after work, I packed up a bunch of comics and postage for them, and then hopped on here.
I see. Well, I'm curious because you're a grandpa and I'm not a grandpa yet. And I'm wondering, being a grandpa, does that drain your energy? Is it like, is there some cosmic force that takes place when you become a grandpa?
No, not at all. Since I'm fairly a young grandpa, doesn't seem to bother me at all because we have at least two of the grandkids here most of the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't drain me at all.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Keeping active and energetic for the young ones. That's
Oh yeah,
always
I've been
nice.
going to and taking them to Free Comic Book Day next weekend. This coming weekend.
Oh, that's nice. Unfortunately, living in Japan, and when my kids with the professions that they have, well, my daughter's working, but my son is going to be an engineer, probably working for, probably even know the company he's working for already. But nevertheless, he's not going to live anywhere near us. So when the babies start coming, we probably won't see him much, once a year maybe. Um,
Oh,
yeah, well, that's the world we live in today. Which is too bad because I think I'd be a great grandpa. I'd teach him all kind of naughty things.
Oh no,
Oh yes.
you would definitely teach him the glorious history of fascist Japan. I knew it. I knew
No, I wouldn't. What I would do is I get him to say, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to say shit. I want you to say it really loud, and I'll give you 500 yen.
it. Oh man, I
that
laughed.
happened to me. We were walking in the park as my oldest granddaughter. She was maybe 3 at the time.
No.
Pushing this little baby stroller and got caught on the concrete. She said, "God damn it!" Everybody turned around and looked at me. That's where she learned it, isn't it? I thought, don't blame me.
Booster, get in here. If you're
Yeah.
in the chat, you can get in here. You can listen
He likes
straight up
trolling.
to the microphone. I offered to buy you one because they were on sale, and I was being a good friend. Be like, here, bud, you've been working real hard on your videos. Have a good mic. He's like, no, I don't want it. I'm too good for your stuff. So no, get in
Oh
here.
no, Booster only takes things from women online. Yeah, don't you know that?
This guy. Booster's obsessed with this idea that I have some deep accent, some deep Midwestern accent. I don't at all, but he has this obsession with it, and I don't know why. I think he thinks it gets under my skin,
Oh,
but
I
really
see.
I just find it funny.
Well, you do have a touch of a Midwestern accent. It's just a touch, though.
Uh-huh.
Midwesterners have an accent?
Yeah. They draw their vowels just slightly longer than most Americans, other than the South, which those guys
Yes,
just are like syrup.
we
Do I
speak
have an
correct.
accent?
Do you know you
Eric,
don't? You sound like a New Yorker, which is a problem.
Eric, we speak correctly. The rest of the country does
Uh-huh.
it wrong. It's
Uh-huh.
That's
okay.
what I think too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. We'll go with that. We got one Doom Rabbit in here. He says go to change to Bleach this week for DNQFE for the anniversary. Oh, thank you, dude. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah.
I like it. I
Um,
like that a lot, actually. I will be there on that show, and I will be the one to decide who wins because I have that power. You watch. I will rig that vote like a Democrat. Watch.
ho 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 ho
Well,
ho.
well
ho,
tell us who your
actually,
favorite character is, and that's who we'll draw.
yeah, there you go. But yeah, why not? I mean, it is the anniversary. It was very, very popular, so that should be fun. Uh, uh, Opa? I don't know what Culpin Video is trying to say. Gay accents is more. Ooh, they actually look at that. They actually held him spelling gay Ghey. They're
See, it's
on to your
funny.
shit, Eric.
It's funny that Booster thinks other people have an accent because he literally doesn't, because he's such a mutt that he has both an English and a Kiwi accent at the same time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's rather unattractive too.
I see now. Not even I could say that because the women seem to love it on the internet. I don't know what he's doing in person that's wrong, but on the internet he gets women all over him. So
Oh, okay. Well, I'd rather have it
Wow.
happen in person than on the internet, just to be honest with you. But anyway, let's quit picking on Booster and get into today's news. We got a lot to cover, so we need to get into it. So here we go. Alrighty, come over here, and we're going to start out with Eric, actually. Oh yeah, there she is. Oh, you found her picture. God damn it, dude. All right.
Is that
Uh,
her? I hope that's not
I
her.
think it is.
That
I'll
one's
come back to
15.
it later. She's
oh, well, then that's not her.
no, this the one I'm talking about is 22. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. All right. So come over, and here we go. Boom.
Substack is getting into comics.
Yes, they are. And
They're
now this
deep.
is interesting because I didn't know anything about this, but
They're
Substack
going
is trying
deep.
to put a new spin on webcomics. The newsletter platform announced today that it's signed a number of comics creators up to use this platform. They'll email comics out to readers and use Substack's subscription tool to charge directly for access to their work. Okay, so I think
Hmm.
there's other ways to do it. I don't know you have to necessarily go the email way, but that's what they're doing. It's a new type of content for Substack, which has predominantly been focused on written newsletters covering topics like politics, tech, and culture. But the expansion to comics makes plenty of sense. Comics have long been successful online, that's true, but they've largely been supported by ads and merch sales. Substack offers comic creators a chance at something a little closer to selling readers a new issue at the store each month. Among the creators signed up is James Tinian the Fourth, the Batman guy. They also have Saladin Ahmed, Molly Knox Osteridge, and Scott Schneider, among others. Yeah, no, it is a way to go. I suppose there's many ways you can monetize. This is going to be a little cheaper and more direct to you than the whole indie Kickstarter, Indiegogo thing that's going on in this community. What do you think about this, Eric? I mean, you brought it up, so what's your opinion on it?
It's interesting because Tinian had a exclusive contract with DC.
Yeah.
And he gave up that exclusivity to go over here. Now, it's not saying he won't still do some DC stuff, but this, Substack offered him a better deal than his exclusive deal with DC, and he couldn't pass it up.
That's
They
interesting.
also have Jonathan Hickman, and Spencer is kind of like leading the group over there.
Okay. All right.
It's interesting. I don't know what it's going to be. I mean, subscription. I don't know.
Well,
so many
potentially they
free
could
web
make
comics
more
out
money,
there.
right?
Chester, do you hear me salivating over here? Do you hear it? Do you know why? You
Why?
know why, right?
Why?
Because I was right again. Remember when I said that this was coming, that this was going to happen, that eventually somebody will make a service like this, like similar to Shonen Jumps, that makes way more sense, and they have more control over and things, and here it is. And I don't think I called necessarily people jumping ships right away, but that's a huge signal that DC is not only in trouble, they're probably done. And he knew that.
That's true. And what it's doing is basically, in essence, cutting out the middleman, right?
Yep.
Like Comixology.
Which is what I've been calling for since day one on this channel. We gotta stop with the middlemen. I know it sucks, and it sucks because a lot of the middlemen are probably good people, but the reality is that market, that style of business is done. There's no reason to do business that way for something like this, especially anymore. There's just not. Direct to the customer is the best way if you can manage it. And we're gonna. I bet you this will be fairly successful. We know web comics are by far the biggest of comics, of Western comics anyway. Is the web comics, even free ones, are huge. Some of them are massive in the readers.
Yeah.
So this is the way forward. I know a lot of people don't like that. But I bet you eventually, I haven't read this at all, so I don't know, but I bet you eventually what will happen is they will make it an option to where you can have full-on publishing and stuff too, and get physical copies in your hand.
They'll have to do that, or they won't get the older guys like me.
Yeah, they probably will. I know all the new creators retain all the rights to any character they create or any creation. It's theirs. Substack does not own it, and they retain any publishing rights as well.
Yeah. But to be fair, though, I would say there's no way that it wouldn't be cheaper than the $50 I'm paying now for some kind of Indiegogo, right?
Exactly, and that was my point back then with Indiegogo, and a Cult Film Video made basically the same comment here. If Comicsgate started a Shonen Jump, it would cost $35 and deliver once every 1 to 4 years.
Yeah, but let's be fair though. Let's be fair though. I get your point, but you're talking about a group of people that are coming out with no real resources to make things cheaper. It was what it was. Now you're starting to see things like this, and we've seen other things as well that are trying to make it marketable. So I'm not going to sit here and knock on those guys for charging that because what other options they have?
Well, the old axiom will never die. Everything is worth what somebody is willing to pay.
That's right.
Somebody's willing to pay $50 for a comic book, and I was at one time to try and help these guys get something going, and because it looked good, then that's what it's worth. That's what it's worth to you. It's your money. It's no one else's job to decide to you what value is and what your money is worth spending on. That being said, innovation will always fill a vacuum, and the vacuum was pointed out by Comicsgate. Whether they know it or not, this is actually a sign that they've succeeded, because they pointed out a huge vacuum in the industry, a vacuum that needed filled. A direct market service that is going to have high-level artists in it, mainstream artists, that will go right to the customer is exactly what needs to be happening. It's what the big two should have done and started to do, and then they went back on it. It's what they should have kept doing, and they do it as well. Now, obviously, you can get their books online and stuff, too. But it's just, there's a whole lot of stuff tangled in with them, whole lot of bad everything tangled in with the big two now. So this is a great sign that Western comics will evolve and survive. Because if they don't evolve and survive, then they'll either just become super, super niche, even more than they are, or they'll go away entirely. Yeah. And I don't think anybody actually wants to see that.
Everything adapts, and hopefully this will get, or something like it will become very, very popular, because eventually the suck will come over, and they won't make money, and maybe we'll start to see some changing of opinions and changing of attitudes.
Yep.
Right. So, but yeah, interesting. Thank you very much, Eric. It's a good article. I had no clue about it. But anyway, let's move on here. We have a bustier amongst us, which is nice. And go ahead. Mr. Booster.
Give us a second. Give us a second to actually look at your thing. Did you talk about James Tynion and all? He was a part of this shit, wasn't he?
Yeah. There was a bunch of. We need to talk about them specifically.
I was going to talk about how I actually do like his Batman. Well, I was enjoying it until they pulled their whole future state shit, right? And then I just dropped DC Comics, and I kind of forgot to pick it back up again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, good news is that artist that you liked, you can now go to something that has nothing to do with DC and none of the baggage, and still support him if you want. That's a win, in my opinion.
This is a great. Well, I mean, James Tynion was the writer, but there was a really fucking good writer, artist on Batman rather. Maybe I just like James Tynion on Batman because it's not Tom King.
That is a bonus.
For all I know, right, I might have to reread it, but he might have been doing a super average run that was just fantastic comparatively. I don't know. I had fun reading it anyway.
Well, personally, I think all of you have become jaded. I think they've beaten your brains down, and you guys are appreciating things that aren't really that appreciable.
Yep.
Probably. The problem
like what?
The other thing is fucking Detective Comics, who's got Maria Tamaki on it. That fucking woman who's doing I Am Not Starfire. I don't care. Her fucking run might be spectacular. I don't care. She needs to be laughed out of the industry for doing I Am Not Starfire.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, you're the jaded one, cunt. Fuck you. You think everything's terrible just to be contrarian. Get out of here.
No, that's not accurate.
No, actually, I'm factual.
Mr. New Zealand.
Everything's terrible, and I'm factual. I don't enjoy anything because that is my personality.
I have quality control, and you do not.
Berserk to release new chapter following creator's death. Brutal.
Sorry, that was a bit too far. All right, so here we go. This is a good thing. They have it. Of course, the creator has passed away, and they've come out with the last chapter here, and I think it's great. I mean, there's not much to say about it. We talked about it a little bit before, and I think it's wonderful. So, you guys have anything to add to that?
From what I understand, they actually are planning on carrying on fully. Not just one more chapter. The people who were helping him because he was sick for so long, he expressed to them, he probably wrote most of it, to be honest, wrote down where the story was going and where he wanted it to end, or told them, and they plan on making that happen. And that's good. I think that's what the fans want. It's obviously what he wanted, or he wouldn't have done it. And I think that's a win. Again, another win. Just a win for everybody involved. Now, there's going to be people, we know they're out there, we don't even have to look far for them, who will already say, I don't consider it canon. If it didn't come from him, I'm not reading it, because they're just that Chesterish. But the rest of them, the rest of the fan base is gonna love it. Come on, it was sitting right there. I had to swing at it.
Okay, Eric, you got anything to say on this?
Oh no.
Okay, cool.
He's got nothing.
You
He's
got
got
nothing. No, I mean, there's not much to say. We did talk about this at length. I'm happy it's happening. It just came up, so why not put it up again and talk about it? I think it's a good thing. I really enjoyed the Berserk quite a bit. It's something I actually sat down with the anime and watched it with my wife, and we both enjoyed it, which is interesting because she doesn't really watch anime at all, and I don't watch a lot. But we did enjoy that quite a bit because it's an adult story, and I don't mean I mean that as in adult themes and adult conversations, right? Whereas a lot of
Adult
manga and
rapes,
anime are
yeah.
for younger people, and that's fine. That's their intended audience. So, but I liked it quite a bit. So this will be good. This will be good. Very, very nice. All right, now.
Very nice.
I'm glad you're doing a Borat impression this time.
Very nice. All right.
Good time for a Borat impression.
All right. This here
Oh, this fella.
is the new Kang.
Mhm.
This is Kang.
We were Kangs!
He was Kangs.
He was, and I see the joke. I doubt they did. He's your new Kang.
I don't know, man. I think at this point they're doing this shit on purpose because
I
there's
feel
no
so, too.
way they didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Well, he's
now-
the weakest part of Loki for me. He was trying way too hard to come off goofy and quirky. I
Well-
did not like him.
Well, I gave up.
Oh,
on
he was
Loki
goofy and
after-
quirky, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. This is our new Kang. You're going to start seeing a lot more of him. He's going to show up because this is the new bad guy that they're going to start trying. I'm sure they'll use the same formula and they'll start piecemealing him. And if you know anything about Kang the Conqueror, you understand that that's kind of what he was. He was all little kind of other characters you didn't necessarily know was Kang. He did this,
Yeah.
right? So it's actually a good character to pepper in here or there, and then have the big bad battle in the end, which I'm sure they're going to do. And here's his first introduction, although he might have been somewhere else, and we didn't notice it was him yet, because that's possible. Anyway, here's the thing, though: if this is our new Kang, all right, fine. Then what this means is that when they reboot the Fantastic Four, which they plan on doing, Reed Richards and Sue Storm or Sue Richards are going to be black because this is their ancestor. This is their great whatever great grandchild, right? So they're telling us that the Richard couple are going to be black. Are you guys all right with that?
Well, I don't. I don't. They can do whatever they want to the MCU, as far as I'm
I'm
concerned.
not watching it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck 'em.
but I was expecting that. I mean, I think it'd be pretty silly not to expect it. They're not going to show a white. They're definitely at worst going to. They were not at least both going to be white. That's for sure. They're not going to do a white happy quote unquote married couple that's functional in modern. They're just not going to do it. Disney is not going to pull back on the subversion to do that. So if you're going to get anything, you'll get a black couple. If you're lucky, it'll
No,
probably still end up mixed race.
I think that's what they're going to do because, well, I don't know if they can, because here's the thing. That is not a mulatto guy. That guy is African, straight up.
He's pretty dark.
That is
Yeah.
not a mulatto person. Therefore, the only way for it to do would be have a straight ancestry of African ancestry. So, I mean, the thing is, Eric, am I giving too much credit to the idiots over there writing these stories to think that they actually understood and did any research whatsoever to know who the fuck Kang is?
Oh, I've wondered that when they cast him. I was curious, do they know who he is? Do they know what they're going to have to do now? I honestly don't know if they do. But I do believe they will probably go in the direction of one of them, probably Reed being black.
Unbelievable, dude.
Well, I want John
Unbelievable.
Krasinski to be Reed Richards. That's who I want.
That's who
Uh,
should be him. Yeah, he
Yeah.
he has you give him some highlights on the side of his head, gray him up a little bit, make him lose about 10 pounds because he's a little bulky now. Yeah, all day he could be Reed
Yep.
Richards. All
Here's
day.
the thing, though. Here's the thing. Making Kang a black guy doesn't upset me at all. I don't give a shit. And most people have no idea who Kang is. I guarantee you 99% of this planet does not know that Kang is a descendant of the Richards. I guarantee this,
I have
right?
no idea.
And so this is, no one knows this. No one cares. They're seeing this guy and they liking him or not liking him. However, the Fantastic Four are known, right? There have
Yep.
been 3 films put out, 4 really, if you count the Corman one, that people have seen. So they know who the Fantastic Four is. They're aware, right? And I don't know how they're going to pull that off. It's going to piss people off. I mean, people.
Well, all they have to
already
do is just make him not a descendant of Reed. I mean, there's no reason he has to be. It just was a thing that he was in the
True.
comics,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. They probably, yeah, giving them too much credit by saying they're going to follow the comics. Look at what they did
Yeah.
to Taskmaster.
Look what they did to Enchantress. She's now Loki. What?
Yeah.
They did
Like-
say they're going to fix Taskmaster in the future. He will be more of his. They said his counterpart. So I don't know how they're going to fix that. But
Well, the thing is, with Taskmaster is another example though of what I'm talking about, because we know who Taskmaster is. We understand, those of us who read comics, we know that Taskmaster is one of the best villains Marvel's ever made. We know this. The general audience has no clue. I was actually watching.
He's so great. They made Deathstroke by ripping him off.
Yeah, well, I mean, fair enough with all of that. Of course, back and forth between
Yeah.
Marvel and DC. But I was watching Red Letter Media yesterday, and they were making the joke about it because they don't know. As far as they're concerned, Taskmaster is just some little off character no one knew about. They don't understand that he's actually one of the best villains they got. They don't know this. The average people don't know this, and that's fine. They don't have to know it. I'm just saying that it's definitely troublesome for us. This one I think is going to get him in trouble though, because people do know the Fantastic Four, right? So I don't know. It's dumbass
Well-
shit.
this guy actually
Here's the-
that dumpy on the show?
Yes.
He is
Yes,
dumpy.
My God, I didn't realize that when I was watching.
I don't know what the plan
Super
is
quirky.
with him, or maybe I don't even know who this guy is. It's the first time I'd ever seen him. He's super quirky. They wanted him to be way more charismatic than he came off, and hopefully he can play menacing because he needs to if he's going to be
Do
Kang.
not see him playing.
But
it,
I
Mason,
don't
dude.
see that at all. Like
Yeah.
I just don't see how he's gonna flip that switch. Maybe he
How
can.
was
Maybe
this
he's
dude following
the
up
ring.
Josh Brolin?
and that's another problem. Maybe I'm just way out of touch. Probably am. I have no idea who this guy is. I knew who Josh Brolin was. Josh Brolin's the name, at least of some recognition in Hollywood, and a very accomplished actor in multiple, roles with action and things.
Right.
Who's this guy?
I don't know, but he's your new bad guy, and
Yeah.
making a black guy a bad guy, I'm good with that.
That's what's
This is
more
one,
shocking to me.
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors.
So he has been in Lovecraft's Country as the main role. So, yay.
It's an HBO series, wasn't it?
That crap thing.
He has
yeah.
been in Da Five Bloods, Jungle Land. No
Oh,
one
wow.
say anything.
Okay. Yeah, no clue.
Chester,
The
don't
Last
go there. Don't
Black
go there,
Man
Chester.
in San
Yeah.
Francisco. White Boy Rick. Like, these are the
Well,
kind of
I
movies
had me
he's
some
in,
Jungle
right?
Love at one time. What are you talking about?
Oh, dear.
I don't understand why they would cast him. Like, I get that they want, they want to diversify the MCU. Okay, whatever, cool. That's your business. I think it's stupid, but whatever. But why this guy? There are plenty of black male actors, who could pull off Kang and do what they tried to get this guy to do at the end of that show, and be very charismatic, but also intriguing. That was what they were going for, is intriguing, right? Mysterious. Bring mystique. He didn't do that at all. There was none of that.
Denzel.
Well-
Got Denzel
Well,
Washington.
Oh,
I mean,
that-
if they
hey,
wanted
it
a
could have worked.
truly skilled actor, yeah.
So-
But there's others out there, plenty of them, that could have pulled that off, and this guy just didn't. He just didn't do it.
Well,
This
Well,
guy is the main
He's
role
like a
of
jester.
Lovecraft's Country, right? Lovecraft's Country, which not a single episode, not even the pilot, broke 1 million views, and it's not getting a second season.
no, because
Yeah.
it sucks balls and it's straight
Yeah.
up woke racist crap. But here's the thing, though. they're trying to do the same thing they did with Thanos because Kang is very much a sympathetic villain in a way, right? At least the way he
Mhm.
started. He was a good guy in the beginning, and he became very jaded because of the death of I can't remember her name. But he has an arc, and it's all over time. His arc is because he basically fixes Doctor Doom's time chair, and that's how he starts out. But he starts out as a good guy, or wanting to be a good guy. Iron Kid, I think, was his first incarnation. But anyway,
Mhm.
and he jumps throughout time, and he becomes more and more jaded and more determined to do what he thinks needs to be done, and he becomes a full-on monster, right? So they're trying the same thing they did with Thanos. They have a character that is a sympathetic villain, right? And I don't know, you already did that. Do something different, right? Why don't you use something that's just a full-on ridiculously evil? It's just pure evil that we need to deal with, or something like that. But whatever. I just don't think these guys understand the mistake they've made. And you're right.
Maybe they'll make Doctor Doom black. He'll be a descendant of Doctor Doom and Sue's illegitimate child.
Oh God! Don't give him ideas.
Jeez.
No, I would have much rather if we're gonna if we're gonna rewrite where they're going with the MCU. I would have much rather Doctor Doom.
that'd have
Much
been
rather
awesome.
they give us an awesome Doctor Doom. But instead, we get Kang, and not that Kang's bad or anything. He's just he's Kang. You know what I mean? Like he's not Thanos. He's not Doctor Doom. He's important and dangerous and a menace and a threat. Yeah, but he's Kang. Like there's not much more you can say about him. He's not that compelling, in my opinion. I don't think even to the broad stream comic audience is he a super compelling character. Thanos is a super compelling character.
Stan Lee's favorite character.
Yes,
favorite villain.
For good reason, because he's awesome.
Yeah.
That is right.
Fucking
That's right.
Doctor Doom. What a rad name.
What a great name. He's a great character. Victor Von Doom. Oh, it's everything right about comic books right there.
It is. Well, anyway, we'll see what they're going with this. I suppose I'm not going to see it because I'm pretty much noped out of the Marvel MCU altogether. But whatever. Let's move on to a Warner Brothers DCU. How about that? You guys want to do that? Let's do that.
Sure.
Here we go. The Suicide Squad. Now, if you haven't seen this yet, spoilers are incoming. I guarantee it. I'm going to try not to be so harsh about it, but I mean, it's inevitable. Spoilers are on the way. So if you haven't seen this and you don't want to be spoiled, you probably want to step out because, we're getting into it. We're getting into this shit.
Where did you find this picture with the India splash on it?
I live outside of the United States. I have access to the world, sir.
You couldn't find a Japanese one or an Asian one for some reason. India.
I thought it was ironically funny.
Let's go to the Suicide Squad.
Oh, I want Indian. I want that Bollywood
Suicide Squad. Let's go.
All right. So, spoiler warning in place. Here we go. Now, the way I want to break this down is, first of all, I want to talk about each character of the Suicide Squad, not all the extraneous characters, just the Suicide Squad. Then I'm going to talk about the soundtrack, and then I'm going to have us rate the movie. Okay? Let's just get into it here. And first up, we have the Peacemaker himself. Thunder, tell us what you think about John Cena's thing here.
Well, I'll tell you what I think about his portrayal. He did great. I loved him as Peacemaker. I thought he was the best part of the movie. He was funny. He never, nothing he did not land. Everything landed. It came across when he made the spoiler, when he makes the switch and becomes kind of the menace for a second. It's believable. It works.
It works.
And
character, what he's doing.
Yeah, and he pulls it off. John pulls. This is his best performance to date, I would say. And I hate to admit that because I have a vitriolic, personal, deep hatred for John Cena. But this is by far his best performance.
What about you, Booster?
I agree with all that of the above, but there are a few things I was disappointed by if you know anything about Peacemaker from the comics, right? One, he constantly talks to his helmet. right?
Yep.
Peacemaker is an insane person.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
he's haunted by his father's ghost. The same thing they did
Yeah.
with Polka Dot Man. They should have been doing with him.
Exactly. Maybe that's why they didn't do it. They felt they were doing it with the Pokemon Dot Man, so they couldn't kind of do two hallucinogenic characters, I guess.
I would,
But,
if I had to guess why they didn't do it, is Cena probably was like, I don't really want to play somebody haunted by a Nazi.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That doesn't sound like a win for me.
Yeah.
But shit, that could have been like seriously. They could have done so many jokes with that. You know what they would be like with Nazis. Ooh, Nazis bad and everything. They could have had a blast with that. But
Yeah.
whatever. He was still a very fun character. It was one of the strongest points of it. Like he was just hilariously stoic.
Yeah. No, he was. Eric?
Well, John Cena started coming into wrestling when I was getting out of watching wrestling. I didn't know much about his wrestling career. I knew he was a wrestler. And anything I had seen him in prior to this, I just hated. I hated him as an actor. And knowing he was going to be in this, I was like, oh, this character is just going to suck. But he was one of the more likable, well, I won't say likable, entertaining characters. And I think of every performance I've seen him in, this is definitely his best performance.
Oh,
Yeah.
and for the record, any you can't see me jokes in the chat, immediate ban from the channel, block from Twitter.
You're
You're
just doing that on purpose, so they'll do it and piss me off, aren't you?
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah, he is.
No, I've already seen one.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Here's what I got to say about the Peacemaker and John Cena. Actor. Who knew?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
He
really.
can do
I've never
it.
seen
He
him act
has
well.
those. He has the chops. He did it. You never would have known watching him wrestle because the motherfucker can't sell a move in wrestling. So I don't know. He must have took acting classes because he was. I believed everything he did. Believed all of it.
Now, of course, you guys have heard the comments. He's not a likable character. He's not supposed to be.
Correct.
But I have nothing to say. He's not my favorite character in the show. However, he pulled this. It's 100% believable. There's no gaffe, not one. And I'm like, John Cena did this, and he did. And I think it really comes down to the director. I know there's a lot to say about James Gunn, and I agree with a lot of it. But clearly, the dude can get a good performance out of his actors, man. Clearly,
Yes.
because it was exactly what it needed to be. So I don't have much to say other than good job, John. I mean, because he played it well. And of course,
Yes,
I do. Yeah,
Stay
go
away
ahead.
from wrestling, John. Go ahead. Be in Hollywood where you belong with the rest of the creeps. You stay away from pro wrestling. Thank you.
Well, yeah,
keep
no,
sucking up
I
the
hope he
Final
does
Buddy.
more. I hope he does more, actually, and he builds his acting ability. I do agree. I think we could have had a little bit more to show us the inside the mentality of Peacemaker. They did, and as a person who knows the character and read the comics, I know what they're doing from various little comments, but the general audience probably didn't catch it. But it doesn't matter. I think it works fine.
Yep.
Let's go on here. Let's see. Next, Polka Dot Man.
Let
I love
Booster
this
start this
actor.
one.
I love this actor. Very underrated actor. He's in a lot of things, right? And he's very typecast as the same little creepy little antisocial psychopath,
Gremlin.
right?
Yeah.
What else? I think he's been in Prisoners. Well, I think he was in the. No, I don't think it was in the Dark Knight. Yeah, he was in the Dark Knight. I was chained up to an ambulance at one point by Two-Face, if you remember.
Oh,
but
yeah.
he's in
Okay.
He's in a lot of stuff. He's always the same character, and I think he was hilarious as his hallucinogens and shit, and just his awkwardness.
Hallucinations.
Yes, and what have you.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is my favorite character in the movie.
He's
I loved
good.
his
Mhm.
character.
Yeah.
It was so well done. This guy acted this perfectly. It's a little different than the comic, fair enough. But I knew from the beginning, my wife didn't. I know that he is the most powerful dude on that team. And they
Mhm.
played it down. And I was like, okay. And they played it off. The only thing that pissed me off was the ending. Spoilers: they killed him instead of the bitch.
Yep.
Because they should have killed the bitch.
The bitch?
The bitch.
You're not referring to Ray. Ratcatcher, are you?
No,
No.
not at all.
No,
Uh,
obviously
oh,
not.
okay.
I was gonna say she is not a bitch by any
Matter of
means.
fact,
She's
I
lovely.
forgot to even put her in the lineup. Ratcatcher
Oh,
didn't even belong in this movie. She didn't even belong in. You know why?
That's
You know,
actually not a bad point. The only reason
I
she was
kind of
in this
agree
movie,
because she's
Yeah.
too nice to be a villain.
exactly. The
I
only
liked
reason she
her.
was in it was so Idris Elba had someone to protect. That was
yeah,
it. That was her whole
exactly.
purpose.
Yeah.
that's probably
And-
they probably built that in. I think the real reason she was in the movie is because James Gunn had a dilemma. He wanted to use Starro, which is cool. I'm glad. I was very happy to see Starro on the screen.
Yeah.
And he had to figure out how do I take a street level team and defeat a cosmic threat. And he came up with a
Mhm.
solution in Ratcatcher. Spoilers. And I got to give him credit. It's a clever solution. It is a clever solution. But that's the only reason she was in here, right? And sure, giving Idris Elba something to fight for. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I didn't put her in the lineup, so yeah, she wasn't even. She's not even supposed to be in the movie anyway. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, Polka Dot Man, awesome shit. Can't believe they
Yeah.
killed him because I love this character. I thought he was awesome. I want to see more of him. I think it's going to
Was
come
a
back
fan.
and bite him too because I think this is one of the characters people are going to really really love and they want more of it and they're not going to be able to get it, right? But anyway, that's my thinking. Eric, what do you think?
Yeah, he was so disturbing that you had to like him almost.
Mm.
You knew he was going to die right before he died.
Yeah, you knew it.
So all
I
that
would
you
say
oh
every
here it comes, and you knew it.
Yeah,
But yeah, he
every
was just
death
so,
was
so
extremely predictable.
very much
because-
so. But yeah, him seeing his
Quite
mom
on show.
everywhere that just cracked me up.
It was funny.
That
yeah.
was funny.
Yeah, it was.
Especially when when Starro was his mother, I almost shit pissed myself. That was so funny.
Yeah, no, and it was bizarre. This movie, by the way, is weird and bizarre. It's straight up
Yes.
weird, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Thundero, what do you think, dude, about Polka Dot Man?
He was good. My biggest problem was when Booster and I went back and watched it later, watched the parts I missed. For some reason, when Booster and I watched it, I just had this overwhelming tiredness come over me, and I passed out. I wasn't bored, I was enjoying it, but I passed out for, I don't know, probably 20 minutes right there in the middle. And during that time is when he went out. And when I woke up, I was like, wait, what the hell's going on? But regardless, I liked him. He's a good character actor. That's something you don't see too often in Hollywood, at least not for as long as he's been doing it anymore. And that's a good thing to see because he played this beautifully. He was creepy. He was upsetting in a way, sometimes a good way, oftentimes a bad way. And I liked that. And he was incredibly powerful, but you never really got to see him unleash that too much, which is a shame.
Well, he could have defeated Starro, but they couldn't
Yeah,
have that because the women have to defeat Starro because, of
Exactly.
course, they do, right?
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't think it was used to its full potential. I would have liked to have seen a lot more of him in it. To be honest, with the Cena character, I would have liked to have seen more of Cena's character because he was limited. But of course, these guys are just side actors. They're not the star and the co-star of the movie. They're just side actors. So in a way, I get it. But yeah, I like this character. He's my favorite, and it's too bad I didn't get more of him. But whatever. Moving on.
Go ahead, Eric.
Sylvester Stallone.
he was just a likable shark with Rocky's voice.
Yeah.
I don't know why James Gunn has that fetish for putting highly
Yeah.
well-known actors in roles where all they do is basically just talk gibberish or talk like an idiot.
He likes that, doesn't he? Yeah. He does.
He was really likable. I won't say he's my favorite. Well, maybe he was my favorite character, but I really enjoyed Shark in here. Don't know why. I guess it's just because he was just a big dummy.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what he is. He's a big lummox. And
And adorable.
yeah, and
Oh,
adorable.
cutie.
Booster, what do you think?
There are a couple of lines where I just kind of rolled my eyes because it was just like so dumb that it was just not really funny. Like when he goes hand, it's like, yeah, that's so random. Well done. Someone on
Well-
Tumblr's gonna love that.
Booster
But,
hates sharks too, though.
No,
That's
no,
true.
no. Well, that is true. But other than that, I did find him very lovable and funny. I also don't feel like he did much. He should have been the heavy of the team, right? He should have been smashing through walls or smashing through crowds of dudes, but he
Yeah.
kind of just stood around with his jaw open.
Yeah, they didn't use him very well. That's true.
Yeah.
And
So I
keep in
wish he
mind,
did more.
so do I. There's a lot of that wishing, in my opinion, in this movie. And
Mm.
keep in mind, guys, this is not a comedy. I know a lot of people and the trailers and stuff are making you think it's a comedy. It is not a comedy. Now, to be fair, there are a couple
Right.
moments that did make me chuckle. There are a couple funny moments, but it is not a comedy by any stretch of the means.
What?
Unless you
Wait,
consider
what?
comedy to be odd situations and odd characters. If that's your idea of comedy, then it's a laugh fest, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, that is what a comedy is. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
By
not a comedy,
definition. What
guys.
do you
Are
think
any one of
comedy
you going to tell me this
is?
is a comedy?
A comedy. Yes.
I
No,
would
it's
say
not.
it's.
I laughed through
I
the
would
movie.
say it's more of an action movie. I would say it's an action comedy, but it's an action movie
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does have some very funny moments in
does,
it, like
it
the
does.
part where Peacemaker and what's his name, Bloodsport, are just one upping each other on kills, walking through the camp, killing, and we find out that those are actually all the rebels.
Yeah, that was
They
funny.
killed all the wrong guys.
Yeah. I mean, there are funny
was
moments in it. There are, but I'm just trying to say that it's not a comedy. Don't go in thinking this is a Guardians of the Galaxy type of thing. It's not at all.
I would say King Shark
I think it's
is.
funnier than Guardians of the Galaxy.
I would say King Shark is this movie's Drax, in that he's there to be funny more than anything. He's a little bit of Groot, a little bit of Drax. And I don't hate that. I think that's fine. The problem is, like happens in Guardians of the Galaxy, is the character that he's using for that is also a badass. But we never get to see that because they're too busy being the jokester, right?
Yeah,
the jokes are always
that's
on them.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. Like, Drax never even got near Thanos. Really. Not really. And that's ridiculous.
He should have had his one-on-one with Thanos. Why does
At
that
least-
character not have his one-on-one fight with Thanos?
Yeah.
So
Trying to
that's a
save my
little-
family.
a little annoying, but it's almost a James Gunnism at this point, where he has these big, powerful looking, imposing characters, and they're basically idiots.
Yeah. He likes that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something he seems to love, which,
Yeah.
if done well, and he does it well, isn't that big of a deal. But it would be nice to see Shark get some badass. Where I thought he was going to right at the end there, and all he did is kill one guy. I was like, what? Why would he only kill that one guy? He had all those other guys to kill.
He's horribly underused. But James Gunn does this. It's his modus operandi, for sure. By his time way back in Troma, all the way up to his super movie, he always has the idiot character. It's his thing, right? And that's fine. Now, Chester's going to be honest with you, though. This character, in a way, is comic relief, but it's also an extremely sad character. It's the way it's treated. It's this horribly, viciously lonely, sad character, is what it is.
Yeah.
And I think the character was incredibly underused. Now you hear me keep saying this, and it's difficult when you have such a big ensemble cast to really showcase everybody properly. I understand and respect that the difficulty of that. So I don't know. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more action from King Shark. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more Peacemaker. We're not even going to talk about Ratcatcher because she's just a plot device, really. And she didn't belong in this movie. She stood out like ridiculously bad. And of course,
I thought she was like nice and likable. It's just
Yeah,
like,
but she
why
didn't
is she
belong in
on
this
this
movie.
team of villains?
it didn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
And of course, they had to stick in the Wiki Takipiki, whatever the hell his damn name is. What's that
Oh.
dude's name?
I bloody groaned when I saw him. I was like, of course Taika Waititi is in this fucking movie.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
played her dad. And
Why
fair
is he
enough,
in everything now? What is happening
because
with him?
Hollywood's in love with him. That's why. And he's drank the Kool-Aid, friend. He most certainly has. And at least they did explain that, why they race swapped not race swap, gender swapped the character. Whatever. The Ratcatcher doesn't matter. She means nothing in this movie. She's just a way to take out Starro. And I can't complain to Gunn much about it because it is a clever solution. It is a clever
Yeah.
solution.
It works.
It does work. Yeah.
That's the problem with this movie, is that it just works.
Yeah.
What he set out to make, he made it, and it works. And everything, well, most everything within it works because he knows how to actually make films. So when he puts something in the movie, he has a reason for it. And eventually that either pays off or pays off for another character why that's in the movie.
He is,
and that works. He's very good at it, and that's why his movies are typically well received, and this one is well received, but it hasn't been successful, which is a shame. I think that's a shame, actually, because I actually really like.
Let's hold on that a little bit, huh? Let's move on to the next character, however. Rick Flag.
Just stale.
Well, I'll start with it. Yeah, I'll go first this time. Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad, I remember he existed, maybe, possibly. But then again, original Suicide Squad is so forgettable. The only thing I remember in that is Margot Robbie's tits and ass. That's literally the only thing I remember. Right?
I remember Jared Leto squawking like a seagull.
Oh, and the stupid Joker. Yeah, that does stick out. That was a horrible Joker. That was like, you don't know who the Joker is. But whatever. So, and of course the idiots took the one thing that people liked out of the movie and said, oh, they like Harley Quinn, and then they went and totally ruined what you liked about Harley Quinn, which is her tits and her ass. Yeah. And they've taken that away from you completely, and we'll get to the bitch in a minute. But Rick Flag, however, in this movie, way better. Way better. I actually will remember his character this time. Much better character. Is he important? No. But he's kind of the glue that keeps everything together in a way. Yeah. All I can say is I will remember this character from this movie. It's 1,000 times better than the first one. 1,000 times better. And the dude, I thought, did a fine job. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. I have nothing more to say about it other than way better, dude. So, Eric, what do you think?
Kind of similar. I mean, I kind of remember him in the first movie, but not being good of an actor. And this one, it seemed like he either had a better script and better direction. He came off as a better actor, and liked the character. I was kind of sad about it, but yeah. I mean, I think he needed a better script and a better direction with a good director to shine a little bit better.
And he did in this one. He did. He's an actual memorable character, I thought. What do you think about it, Booster?
I think he was a very wasted character because I feel like there's some writing potential in this, right? I wanted to, because like you said, he's the glue that keeps the team together, right? And my question was always, why him? I feel like there was something fascinating they could have done with this character, They could have given him some kind of backstory or some kind of information on him, right? That made us understand why he gets the villains. Why does he work with villains other than some other guy, right? Yeah. Is he a character that understands the villain mindset and is able to I don't know, stroke the ego and make them work as a team or something? Instead, he's just kind of generic army dude, and he does nothing for me. I didn't care when he died. Spoilers, he dies. I didn't give a shit.
Well, yeah, and I get that. And you're kind of touching on my overall opinion on this. I feel this would have been much better as like a 6 or 8 part series. It would have been a lot better if we saw them having to go through a whole bunch of steps to get to that last point. They could have fleshed these characters out more. We could have got those more things about Rick Flag because, like I said, it's a much better version of Rick Flag, right? This actor, I actually loved him in Altered Carbon. He was awesome. And then they went and got rid of him because they had to get you got to have a black guy in there because, the 2020,
maybe they just want Anthony Mackie, to be honest.
Yeah, which is why he's a very bland actor. But this guy was awesome in that. But however,
now do you guys think that he wasn't supposed to be on the team because he was sent in with the first team? So was Waller expecting him to die?
She was, and they did show how evil she was. That was a good thing about the movie.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Task Force X are evil sons of bitches, and they displayed it very well.
And Amanda Waller is a massive bitch. I liked that.
She is.
She is
Yeah.
supposed to be. She's
She's
large
supposed to be.
and in charge. She is a bitch. That
She's
is
vicious. Yeah.
Amanda Waller to a T.
She is
Yep.
Finch, yeah. But I really think they missed an opportunity to do like a more of a Disney Plus type thing, like a Netflix 6 issue thing. And then if they had done that, I think they would have been smarter because then you can come back every new season introducing new Suicide Squad members, right? And you could keep Waller and Flag as your kind of key guys. You could flesh out why. Good question. Why is Flag there, right?
Yeah.
That I
What the
think
hell has
that's
he done in the past?
yeah, and I think that's a hugely missed opportunity because that's one of the things the movie's lacking. If you haven't noticed, each of these characters we keep saying needed more, right?
Mhm.
Every one of them. We haven't got to the star and the co-star yet, but all these other characters needed more. They needed more. Whatever. Thundero,
Completely forgettable. If
but
Booster
better than
wouldn't
the
have told
first
me
though.
if Booster wouldn't have told me his name was Rick Flag, I wouldn't even know it was Rick Flag. That's how completely forgettable he was.
Yeah.
He was pretty much from. If I had to guess, he was there one as a bridge. Him and Harley, obviously, as a bridge from the other movie, and two, they needed somebody for Peacemaker to fight, and they didn't want it to be Idris Elba. So there you go. That's what Rick Flag's job was. He was the white guy they could kill.
Yeah, that's fair
And
enough. That is fair enough.
that was pretty much the breadth and the width of the depth the character brought. Yes, it's a better performance and it's better presentation, but at the end of the day, he's forgettable. He's just not. I think the problem we have here is Elba and Cena did such an amazing job in their lead roles that everybody else just kind of got pushed to the back. Even the ones that they wanted to push to the front still just like when we're getting to her, but when we got to the Harley stuff, every time she popped up, I think even Booster was like we were just like, we don't care. We don't want to see Harley. We don't want to see this. Go back to these other way more interesting characters.
Well, and that's it. You should have had Idris as the star and Cena as the co-star. That should have been it, and we should have seen a lot more Cena. They should have played on that. I understand bringing Harley in, but if you're going to bring her in, put her in there in the way she should be in there, which they didn't do. And of course, the suicide middle, whatever you want to call it, that Harley Quinn movie, Birds of Prey, they did this. That was much worse what they did with that. But we're going to get to it. We're getting to it. God damn it. All right, here we go. The co-star. Should have been the star, but the co-star.
Yeah, he was the star.
Whether
they build him as the star or not, he was, and he typically is. Idris Elba's great.
He's awesome.
He
is.
He's top tier, top of the line actor. He is leading man material all over him. There's nothing. I can never say enough good about Idris Elba's performances. They're always great, even when he's not supposed to be the leading man, like in the Thor movies. He steals every scene he's in, unless he's in there with Anthony Hopkins. But come on.
Yeah,
of course he doesn't steal those.
He's going to be overshadowed by anyone.
Yeah.
If you're going to be overshadowed by anyone, why not the greatest of all time? Okay, why not that one?
Right, and it's an obscure enough character that no one cares that it's race swapped. Right?
Yeah. It's stupid, but yes, exactly.
They shouldn't have done it the dead shot still, but yeah.
Yeah, but no, he's great. I liked his character. He made sense. He was believable. He's a bastard and he knows it.
Yep.
And he finds a little bit of decency within him by the end, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a great character arc. Yeah, it's a great character arc. It makes sense. James Gunn is a good director. No one can say he's not.
Yep.
It's just he's a human piece of garbage. But as a director, he's spectacular. And he does a great job with his character. Idris does a great job with his character. He's perfect for it. He has just the right amount of swagger for it. He pulls off a beret, for Christ's sake. And I mean, that's all you need. The man pulls off a beret. He wins.
That is fair. Booster?
Much better than Will Smith as Deadshot, right?
Way better.
Will Smith as Deadshot was playing Will Smith, right? Idris Elba was playing a character with an arc. He was playing a bastard, then a character that found some good in himself. And those morph guns were rad as shit. He kept on a helmet that looked awesome for a very long time. He actually kept on a fucking helmet for a while. Well, of course, it has to come off more than it should.
Obviously,
but, hey,
yeah.
I still say missed opportunity to be Bronze Tiger, but still an awesome character.
That's a good point, actually.
Played well.
Yeah. Well, I'll go next. I ditto. He's great. He always is. He pulled the character off perfectly. He should have been your star. and plain and simple. He was great. I liked everything he did in the movie. Yeah, there's nothing really more to say. He was Bloodsport. Awesome.
Why does Hollywood not believe in this guy?
I don't know.
And you could say it's he's because he's black, but I don't think that's true. There's plenty of black actors they've gotten behind and pushed
Oh yeah.
who weren't as good as him. I don't get it. He's good looking. He's got his accent is smooth and buttery, and women love it.
Oh yeah.
He's got a great build. He's a big dude, and he's a fantastic actor with loads of presence that you can't teach. By the way, you can go all the acting schools in the world you want. If you don't have presence, it don't matter for shit. And he's got it. He's got buckets of it. And for some reason, Hollywood just doesn't give him the respect he deserves. And he always seems to end up either as second in a movie or as the bad guy or just not as the star that they actually try and push. I know they've tried a couple different times, I guess, but not really. Not in a major role that would work for him, right? That it's like tailor-made for him, like they do other guys. Will Smith's a fantastic example of that. The 10 years or whatever it was he was on the top, he was typically only taking roles that suited him.
Yeah.
His agent or whoever was making sure he was in the right place at the right time most of the time. There were a few exceptions, but most of the time he was landing on his feet because he was taking the right roles. Idris takes just about any role I've ever seen him do. I can't think of one where he was bad, and he kills it.
He does.
He takes them all and kills it. And yet, for some reason, Hollywood they won't throw any weight behind him, and I don't understand that.
Eric?
I can't argue with anything it's said. I mean, he is a great actor. Doesn't get his due. I mean, he is one actor should be. The character had an arc, which you don't see a lot in comic book movies anymore. And he just nailed it. Anything I've seen him in, I've loved him in. And like Thundaro said, I mean, he's a good-looking guy. The women love him. Why isn't he a leading actor all the time?
Yeah.
The scene, I won't say I loved it the most, but I really loved him and his daughter's exchange.
Yep.
Yeah.
The person.
Well, no, that's a good point, Eric, because
that was hilarious.
this character he played, because he's playing a character, right? It's perfect point with Will Smith under me, because Will Smith always plays Will Smith, and that's great.
Yeah. Yep.
But this guy plays different things, and in this movie, you have this big, strong, powerful guy who has leader potential, but he's also a petty child.
Yep.
It's
The way he was going,
really good.
Fuck you to his daughter. No,
Yeah.
fuck you.
He's Booster's favorite American word. He's a twat. That's what he is. And he knows that. He knows that's what he is,
Yeah.
and he's mostly okay with it.
Yeah. Well, even at the end when he's
confessed that she stole something, and he was like, "Well, why the hell did you get caught?"
right, exactly. But also even at the end when he's talking to Harley, and she said he was my friend, and he's my friend too. I mean, it's not this unbreakable John Cena was playing a extremely stoic, unbreakable character, whereas Idris Elba wasn't. He had pettiness, he had childishness in him, and it adds to the flavor of the character, I think, a lot. I love the character. He's not my favorite. Polka Dot Man for eternally my favorite. I love Polka Dot Man, but he was great. He was great. All right.
Justice for Polka Dot Man.
Justice for Polka Dot Man, indeed. Oh fuck, here we go. All right, here we go. All right.
Here she comes. Oh, look at the picture he shows too. Good lord. Why do so many women in Hollywood have Pez dispenser heads? What's going on with that? Why are they flip top heads? Like her mouth is obnoxiously big. You could fit a grapefruit in there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go make myself some coffee, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna yell. So you guys go ahead and talk about this for a little bit, and I'll be back in a minute.
The only movie I've ever watched her in where I found her attractive, which, let's be honest, that's her point, was Wolf of Wall Street. She is, just a smoke show in that movie. Every other movie, somehow, they find a way to make her unattractive. Whether they give her a ridiculous voice, like this one, which I get, it's Harley Quinn's voice she's trying to do. I get that, it's not her fault. But still, it's not attractive. It's just not. It's so annoying and so, it literally, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It's so bad. It's just like, oh. And It's screechy. It's grating. That's the word I was looking for. Grating.
Yeah,
And-
she's great, absolutely.
She, as a character, as Harley Quinn, I don't think she's ever worked. I think she tries. I honestly think she does try. She puts on that voice.
I was gonna
look
say
at her.
that she does well for what she's given and what she's supposed to do.
Yes,
I just don't like what she's doing.
I
exactly.
think she does the best she can with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
good at it. I just don't like.
I don't like it. Yeah, no. Give me and here's the real problem with her in this movie. She's a moron. Harley Quinn's not a moron.
She's
Harley Quinn was a freaking doctor, for crying out loud. She's not an idiot. This character's a complete idiot. A complete idiot. Like, it's not quirky. She's stupid.
hmm
If you had a friend like this, and I do, his name's Booster. Like,
Oh, I'm your friend.
sorry, it was just sitting right there. I had to. If you had for real though, if you had a friend like this in real life, she'd be the one you don't want to hang around because she would get on your nerves. She's so dumb. She would say stupid, childish, petty shit all the time, and everything would always end up being about her. Every freaking scene that she's in, the character somehow tries to make it about her. Which, okay, fine, maybe that's just the character he wanted to write, but nobody wants to be around that person. Nobody wants to be around that person. Nobody. And she's just unlikable in that role. They tried to give her like this sympathetic edge to her, like, oh, this guy goes too far in being evil, so I have to kill him. And like she's some kind of like Black Widow character or something. Not karmic book Black Widow, but like this trope of a Black Widow. And it just doesn't work because she's too zany outside of it.
She's
Right? Like,
oh, you
there's-
can't kill those kids. James Gunn isn't done sucking them.
Oh God! It's just listen, Miss. What's her name again? I completely forgot her name.
Robbie.
Margot Robbie. Miss Robbie. I think you aren't a bad actress. I really don't. I think she's a decent enough actress for what she does. But her job, whether she likes it or not, is to be really pretty, and to be the eye candy, and to be the thing that gets men's attention. If she's not willing to, or doesn't want to, or whatever, incapable, maybe she got too old, I don't know, of being that,
Oh, she
then
got
she
too
needs to go away. Simple as that. That's what her job is, and she doesn't have the talent to transition as an older actress, which happens to most actresses. They don't have the talent to transition once they lose their looks, and they become just an actual competent actress. She
And
doesn't
then
have
they
that talent.
They have to do everything they can to hold on. So watch, we're either getting nude Margot Robbie or we're getting political activist Margot Robbie.
Yep.
Probably the latter. She's probably going for a ScarJo thing. You know, ScarJo just hit the 35, and now, you know, everything's about how, oh, I was so objectified making my millions of dollars.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you guys.
In
should
other
tell me
words,
when
she-
you're done. By the way,
In other words, she knows she can't be that sexy anymore because time has just started to win the battle. So she's going to make it like she regrets ever trying to be because she knows she'll never live up to the standard she set for herself. It's just reality.
Gravity's going to win.
Time is undefeated. Any ladies listening to this, unfortunately, you're not going to beat it. So find a way to be worth male attention besides being pretty.
Just
Simple as
pull
that.
me, though.
Brewster has no standards, though, so you're in.
Yeah.
You got him, at least.
I just want someone to tell me I'm pretty.
That's
My
right.
main
Pretty
point,
Booster.
which you can yell at if you like. I just want to be here when I make it. I was saying that I think Margot Robbie does all right for what she's given. Just what she's given, I
agree.
don't like.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think she does fine playing the character.
I
just
don't think she's
like what it
untalented.
is
I
she does.
just
Yeah.
I just don't like her talent. Like, it's just not. It doesn't do it for me. It's not a.
Um,
It's no, thank you.
Her legs looks good in that one scene where she strangles that dude with her legs. I was kind of like, that'd
She
be
does
the
have
right
nice-
way to go.
Yeah, although it's
that was
completely
good. I like it.
unrealistic that a little teeny girl's gonna
Yes.
choke
Well,
out a 200
Yeah,
plus pound man.
but there's a king
And
shark,
lift him
a
off the
gigantic
ground with her
star,
arms.
And there's a gigantic star man and a giant shark. Just,
Yeah,
I
that's-
wasn't.
that
That's a
is
fair
fair.
point.
I was looking at the woman.
That is fair point, dude. Yeah, and you're right. That is.
I was
sexy
wondering at
scene.
one point if somehow Harley got super strength, and we just weren't told because the shit
Well,
she was pulling off was impressive.
Is
They play her off
actually a
as she's
thing
a
in one of the
superhero.
comics. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I think any person who doesn't know comics watching Harley Quinn from the very beginning think that she has some superpower. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But can I go now?
Yes.
Yeah.
The floor is yours,
I'd
sir.
back up about 10 feet if I were you. So,
All right, turn the
Uh,
volume down.
yeah. Let's talk about the fucking psychiatrist, shall we? All right. Because they've always played her as if she's some high-end combat character. She's not. She's a psychiatrist. But yet she has the most badass combat scene in the movie is hers. Not Idris Elba's character, not John Cena's character, her, the psychiatrist, right? It's completely unrealistic. Now, I'm not going to bang on Margot Robbie whatsoever, because it has nothing to do with her. It's the Harley Quinn
I'll
character.
bang on her.
I know you would. It's the Harley Quinn character. I cannot stand. You guys know I hate this character. And she is your star. She's the focus of the movie. She's the hero of the movie. She's the everything of the movie. And it's bullshit. She shouldn't even been in this goddamn movie. It should have been Idris Elba and John Cena up front the whole time, and it should have been a big bang out fight with them then. And if you had balls, you would have had John Cena killing Idris Elba. That would have been ballsy. And I would have clapped for that shit. But that's what it should have been, not this character. Once again, I'm not talking about Margot Robbie at all. She did what she was told to do just fine. If you think that a woman from a psychiatrist from 1920 somehow should have been in this movie, right? Because the whole damn time she's talking like she's a freaking flapper, right? Which I never got that nonsense that's going on in here. But I guess I get it coming back from the Batman animated series is probably what they were playing on with that. But whatever. This there was so many action scenes with this character that didn't make sense. Now, there were also a couple. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. The scene where she kills the dictator is actually a good scene, right? It is very Harley Quinn scene, right? Because she didn't kick his ass. She didn't super strength him into the wall. She shot him in the back, in essence, right? Which is something Harley would do. That's a Harley Quinn move, right? And then talk to him about how precious he was and how important he is as he's bleeding out on the floor. That's Harley Quinn. That's
Mhm.
how she plays well. So that was a good scene. That was very good scene. However, all the other nonsense is nonsense. It doesn't make sense to me. I cannot stand this character whatsoever. And we can even go deeper with this Hollywood stupidity, right? Here she is. She just fucked what she called the beautiful monster dick. Okay, good enough. Glad you got a little bit of D there, Miss Quinn. And what do we see at that non-sex scene? At the end, we have the dude. He's got his shirt open, right? And he's showing off his abs and stuff and his little Speedo. She's in a full-on dress. Now, I'm not saying Miss Roby has to be naked, but she could have looked like she just had sex maybe a little bit. Maybe a little, right? Seeing especially because the only thing we really care about is the beauty of her, right? But whatever. No. Keep in mind that this movie does have a dick in it. And when someone told me, who was the asshole that told me there was tits in this movie? That's Thundero. Thundero told me that. Yes, he
It is
did.
for a brief
Those were the
moment.
ugliest damn tits I've ever seen.
I didn't
fuck's
say
sake.
they were nice tits.
Yeah, we
They
didn't
were
say
not
they were
nice
tits.
tits. Those were
We
horrible
didn't
tits.
say that.
Flat old,
Yeah.
scoopy, pointing out tits. With the
Yeah.
God damn it.
Did
Yeah, I
we
tricked him.
forgot to mention that?
Yeah, I tricked him, Booster. I know his weakness. He likes the booba.
God damn it, Thundero. I was anticipating. And it was like shock to my system. I was like, oh god, wow.
Whoa!
It wasn't
Here they
nice.
come! Whoa!
Oh god. But
I'll just like to say this character's been shit ever since the New 52. New 52 ruined this character.
yeah, because she used to be Joker's girlfriend that would do these horribly insidious things behind your back. That's what she was.
She
She's
wasn't
not a
even
fighter.
supposed to be a staple of the Suicide Squad until New 52.
Yeah,
Now
it's
for some reason
ridiculous.
she's a staple of Suicide Squad. That was
Yeah.
supposed to be kind of Deadshot's thing, but
Anyway, I could go on, but this character nearly ruined the movie for me. I'm just going to be straight up with it, and it's interesting because it doesn't have anything to do with Margot Robbie herself, right? It has to do with the character. Now, a little bit it probably does because she probably refused to do anything even near sexy because she's at that age where she's bitching about being sexy, as Booster already said. I think it was Booster. Um, but it's just dumb. And then, of course, in the end, she's the hero, right? She's the one that's going to defeat Starro ultimately by opening a hole so the rats could get in from the other girl character who shouldn't even be in the movie. All right, well, fine. And somebody yesterday told me there was no wokeness in this movie. Who was the asshole that told me that?
Well, that was Thundero, I'm pretty sure.
All right,
Yeah.
fine.
I'm pretty sure it was Thundero. Also,
Damn,
Booster,
drove that
we
bus
need
right
you.
over him.
Oh, apparently
We
I'm
need you.
muted.
You are
But
needed.
first, I need Chester's hot take so I can tell him he's a cunt.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Booster. You can go ahead.
No, you're gonna make your hot take about there not being any wokeness. Let's go. Let's party. Let's throw down.
Oh, you think there wasn't wokeness in this movie?
Uh-huh.
Where
not
where
a,
exactly do you get
high
that kind of
degree.
depravity?
Well, I don't check my under my bed for SJWs every morning, Chester, like you.
All right. Now, it's not as outrageous as say Birds of Prey or Black Widow or something like that. Sure, but you have the females have to save the day. It's the woman doing it. The man is literally cowering in fear, crying on the ground. Frickin' Idris Elba's character, which is cool. But
Rats.
literally, I understand that, but he's literally cowering on the ground as the ladies save the day. And you're gonna tell me that's not woke? Huh? I'm
I don't really
waiting.
care enough.
Well, see, and that's my point. You've become jaded. They've defeated you.
You're the one who's been defeated, dude. You're just seeing this shit everywhere.
No, I'm not. I'm seeing it
It's
for what it is.
ridiculous with you, dude.
I'm saying,
It's
dude,
getting kind of.
You don't think her
Dude,
sitting
no,
on the
don't
floor?
you dude me. I'll dude you, cunt.
You don't think them lying on the floor, the dude's shirt open, showing off his bare chest, her in full clothing? You don't think that's woke?
Ridiculous! You're like a cartoon of an anti-SJW, Chester. You're getting silly.
Yeah, no, I think you're not really paying attention. I really think they've jaded
And I
you.
think you're a retard. I need to go. I'll
Bye.
see you later.
Dang. Wow.
Bye.
Whoa.
Going, Zach.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Zach. Yeah, no. I understand his retort and his attempt at comedy, but I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Now, is this a crazy, overly woke movie? No, not at all. Not even close. But every movie we get these days has got this nonsense in it because there's an agenda. There's a straight up agenda in Hollywood. You can have white people dating white people. You can. And they usually replace the partner with a black person, usually. You can't have redheads unless they're an absolute cunt that should be in jail. And then we get a redhead. Women have to be save the day. Women have to be strong and powerful, stronger than the men even, instead of just being good, powerful, strong women in the way women are. You can't have that, right? There is an agenda going on. It's in everything they do, and you can't deny it. If you're going to sit there and close your eyes to it and turn your back to it, then you know what? They win. They win. And if you're going to sit here and say that I'm looking for SJWs around every corner, you're full of shit because it's right there in front of you, goddammit.
Here's how they don't win, Chester. We don't give them any money.
Oh, no, I didn't give them a penny. Yeah.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter. They can propagandize and spread and spew and do all their nonsense until they get our dollars out of us. Doesn't really matter in the end because it's basically what they're doing is whistling into a canyon. Yeah, they're getting some echo, but that's all they're getting. They're not going to get the roar of a thunderclap or anything of any. They're not going to get Endgame, right? They're not going to do that. It's never going to happen. Now, the reality is they largely don't care. So the solution is, it's the thing we've all been doing. It's the thing we've all been saying. We just got to make our own stuff. Eric did it. I'm doing it. Booster's doing it. We just got to funnel that same energy that we used. What a lot of us did. A lot of people, most of us are very creative people, I would say, in geekdom, right? We have very creative minds. That's why we're drawn to creative things. Well, when we give our energy, it's the same energy, to someone else's creation with zealotry, right? Like some people have had, like I've had, or like Star Wars and things in the past. We take away our own creativity. Because, yes, old Star Wars is great. It's fantastic. There was a reason it was the top franchise of all time. But what if one of us can make better? And we're so busy focused on what they made that we never make what we could have made. And I think the solution to all of this, and I did not say there was no wokeness. I said there was very little.
Yeah, no, it's not a lot of wokeness. It's not.
I
It's
say
just
the
that
solution
standard
to all of
structure,
this
right?
has been and will always be actual diversity. Disbursement is a better word. There's no reason in today's marketplace, which is a largely global marketplace with the internet, to be these monoliths anymore, like Disney and da 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 da. And they're already dying. This is the perfect example of it. This didn't make the money they thought it would, not even close. It was like half of what they thought it would. And that's a good sign for anybody who wants to create, because that means the market's been dispersed. It's not monopolized like it was. So the solution to all of this is what we've already been doing. It was the point of CG to begin with. Treat the customers well, stop attacking them, and then make quality content. Well, unfortunately, Marvel and DC are incapable of that, apparently. So we're just going to do it. We're going to make the things we want to see, and we're going to make them for a generation of people that hopefully will appreciate them coming after us. And we're going to save the culture that way. One of the reasons Denali, somebody mentioned him earlier, hasn't been on here is because he's been really busy in his off time dealing with the comic he's working on. And that's what he does with most of his free time.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that is what we're focusing our energy on. Now, that being said, whether or not Booster's jaded to it, no, I don't think he really cares too much about the racial swaps.
The Booster's a
Personally. He
simp.
never has.
Booster is a simp to online pussy. That's what Booster is.
Booster has never cared about the race swaps as much as other people do. I care about it largely because I know the reason they're doing it is mostly just out of spite. It's not about, oh, we got this great story, but it would make more sense if it was a black guy growing up in America than a white guy, or
Right.
it was a woman or a man. Or it's not about any of that. That's all nonsense. It's about spite.
Yeah,
They
it's-
want to
it's
get
the
back
intention.
at
It's
white.
the intention.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why it bugs me. It doesn't bug me if you do a race swap. I think some race swaps are fine. I
Yeah.
like the Nick Fury race swap personally.
me too.
I like Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I agree.
it's fine if it's done with the right intention. And the intention is, hey, Sam Jackson's awesome. Let's bring him into the MCU.
Yep.
Okay, that was
Yep.
the intention.
That's right.
Um,
And
it's
that's
totally
a very
fine.
good point. Yeah, it's a very good point. Yeah. Why are you doing it? That's the question. And imagine this movie, instead of having this dumbass psychiatrist, right? Imagine that Huntress had done something and killed a person, right? Because you could believe it, right? And she got stuck on being on the Suicide Squad. And Huntress was bringing, or even better, Black Canary, right? Because those characters are always on the edge. There's definitely a possibility they can murder someone and get arrested, right? And imagine
Yeah.
one of them, on the other hand, doing in place of the Harley Quinn character, right? It would have been way better, and it would have
Yes.
made a lot more sense. And yeah, no, this movie isn't crazy woke, but the structure is there. It is there. They're following the rules of modern Hollywood. You can't. The only titty you're going to get is an ugly ass titty. And that's intentionally done. They could have put a nice titty in there, just some random stripper or something, right? But no, we get an ugly titty, right? You can't have the sexuality being shown by the woman at all, but the men all day long, and that's okay. And my wife has even mentioned this, and she's
Yes.
not complaining, and the women won't, because women love to see pretty men. Of course they do. What do you think they come to the action movie with you for? All right.
Yeah.
The structure is there, is my point. It's not a Harley over woke movie. It's not, but it is there. And it's like, can't we not have enough of it already? Can't we just be done with it already? Can't we just make a good movie? Because if you have a good movie and the female ends up being the hero because that's what she is, awesome. There's no complaining about it. But this is put in your face because.
Yes.
Right? And that's the issue I have. And of course, I also hate the Harley Quinn character. It doesn't make any sense to me. The good thing,
Yeah.
and I think James Gunn agrees with me, because he put that scene in that movie showing us what Harley Quinn really is. That's the danger of Harley Quinn. She will kill you from behind. She will stab you in the back. She is always dangerous. He put it in there, and I think he did it intentionally. He has certain strictures that he had to follow, I'm sure. But I'm not going to harp on the wokeness overly, because it's really not. It's not a big part of the movie, and the movie overall is generally fun. I'm just saying that they just can't They can't help themselves, Eric.
Well, they can't. I mean, it did have just the sprinkles of it. It didn't seem like it was forced on you, but definitely Harley was the worst part of this entire movie.
Oh, easily.
Oh, yeah, easy.
Even liked
Yeah.
Milton better than Harley.
Yeah.
Driver
me
that got
too.
killed.
The
Milton.
Milton joke was pretty good.
It
That
was
was
good.
pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
I will say what I will say to this. The reason why the Idris Elba thing didn't bug me as much with the rats is because it was established. It wasn't just like all of a sudden he was cowering and just defeat. Like a great example. A great example of what you're talking about is The Last Jedi, where Rey just beats Luke Skywalker in a melee competition, melee fight. What? Excuse me. What?
Yeah.
Why? How?
How?
How'd that happen?
Yeah,
Well, the power of Woman. That's how that happened.
that's right.
But in this one, at
Well,
least,
Luke only had an antenna to fight with.
well, at least that he shouldn't need anything to fight. He's
Oh,
fucking
he
Luke
should.
Skywalker. He should be able to
Just
just blink his eyes
flip
and
her
blast
off,
her
yeah.
off the mountain. At least this was set up, and it made sense to his character why he was doing that. Right?
Why
It was
did
well.
they
It was
set
a
it up,
well
though?
told. It was a well told subversion.
Right.
That's
But
what it
why
was.
did they set it up?
It's the Indiana
Right,
Jones
and that's
thing.
why they're doing it.
Start out
Yeah.
showing Indy's afraid of snakes, then he has to deal with a whole bunch of snakes.
Yeah, fair enough. But the difference is Indy dealt with the snakes. Idris Elba's character did not.
He does by the end. He's cool with
because
rats
he
by the end.
pets a little vested
He
rat.
pet the cute little Sebastian. Sebastian was a little cutie, and you
Sebastian
know it.
was cute. Yes, he was. Sebastian gets plus 10 points. But but we didn't talk about Ratcatcher. We didn't even show her because, like I said, she is a plot device.
Yes.
But the character, the actress, was fine. She was very likable, lovable, and that's the reason she was there. Yeah, no problem with that character at all. And I, like I said, I mentioned the woke thing just to show that it is in there, but it doesn't overwhelm, nor does it even ruin the movie.
But at the same time, there's also the vein of trying to be a protector as a man.
Yeah.
That's what helps
That's
turn Idris around, his character around, is he finds someone to protect. And he literally says, I'm not, I'm going to get you out of this or something to that effect, right? I'm not going to let you die. Because that's something, and they say, James Gunn's a great director. He sets it up. Why would that matter to him? Well, because he has a daughter who he's been a terrible father to.
Yep.
So he sees in this girl a chance to kind of redeem that, to be a protector, to defend her, and he sees some of his daughter in her. That all makes sense. So there is still, even with the subversive race stuff, and it's definitely there. I'm not even going to argue with you. You're correct. There's still hints of what feminists would call the patriarchy being promoted, because a literal patriarch is being promoted as the hero of the show.
And James did that intentionally, I think. I think
so too.
Don't get me wrong, because one of the things that whoever wrote this, I don't know if Gunn wrote it himself, sounded like he did. One of the things that gives this way bigger props over the last two Suicide Squads was it was well written.
Yes.
Yeah. And well
Very
directed and well shot. Cinematography was interesting, although I don't know if I care much for the washed out look, but that's just a choice, I guess. But yeah, no, the writing saves this movie for damn sure. But this Harley Quinn character needs to go, dude. Desperately needs to go. Before I move on to the next section, Eric, do you have anything else to comment on this?
I mean, other than I think it's the definitely better DCU movies that they've put out.
Yeah, I agree.
Give it a try. You'll probably love it.
No, I think you'll enjoy it overall. I agree with that. We're going to get to that in a minute, though. Let me move on to the next part of this.
One thing you didn't mention, and I mentioned this last night, just in case anybody, it is absolutely not a kid's movie. Don't let your children.
God, no.
It's an adult movie. It's R-rated. It earns its rating. So unless your kids are old enough and you don't care, whatever, that's your decision. But if you have little kids and you think it's like a fun superhero movie because the costumes look silly, it is, but it's not for kids.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next section here, soundtrack. Now, that's not something we usually talk about very much, but when you talk about James Gunn, you need to talk about the soundtrack because it's important to him.
Yep.
Right? And if you look at the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the soundtracks are used brilliantly. I mean, freaking brilliantly. I'd say they are the star of those movies, are the soundtrack. This movie has a soundtrack as well. Of course, it's James Gunn. It started out wonderfully. Johnny Cash. I was like, ooh, all right. But I'm kind of curious what you guys think about the overall soundtrack of this movie. Eric.
Yeah, it did start out good, and then it just kind of there's more songs they started playing that I didn't know, and I didn't really feel like they fit some of the scenes. It definitely wasn't as good as I feel like the songs were in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I feel like most of those always fit the scenes they're in.
Yep.
But this one, they didn't connect as well, but they were good songs for the ones I knew. Yeah.
Interesting. What do you think, Thunder?
I'm not. I don't care about it. Here's why. A lot of people do this, or not a lot, but many directors will do similar, where they put in pop culture references with music, basically, and then they tie it into the action or whatever. Okay, that's fine, but I think it's overplayed at this point, to be honest. James Gunn does it in all his movies, just about, or at least all his superhero ones. It happens. It's been happening a lot in a lot of different movies where they do something similar, or they'll play a song that doesn't really fit the brutality that's going on, but it's more meant to be paradoxical, and that's fine. But I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of over that whole shtick. I didn't really particularly like Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. It's just not my type of music.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is the same. It's just I would much rather. I'm a boring curmudgeon. I'd much rather have John Williams any day of the week.
Well, fair enough. An orchestrated symphonic soundtrack. Yeah. My take on it is this. Whether you like the music in Guardians or not, it's very eclectic choices, just like in this movie. But they are far more appropriate to the scene, I think. And this movie, I found myself being pulled out of the immersion by the music a lot. Now, if you're a person who likes the Dead Kennedys or any other kind of punk, you'll probably like the soundtrack, I guess. But I just don't think he stitched the music into this movie anywhere near as well as he did with Guardians. I didn't like the soundtrack at all, and it took me out of it a lot. I really, really, really was surprised how bad the music is, because he's good at that usually. Even if you didn't like the music from Guardians, you have to admit it suited the situation, right? And this didn't. It's a huge knock on the movie from my point of view, the soundtrack. And that's not something we usually talk about. And I understand the symphonic approach to things, and that is the classic way to do it, and that's fine. And if you go look at the original Suicide Squad, they were using top 10 songs that everybody in the world knows, right? You can look at that and say, oh well, that's jaded commercial Hollywood crap. Okay, fine. But they did suit the situation better than this movie, however. That's my take on it. For me, the movie loses points because of the soundtrack. It really does, and it sounds like the other two guys didn't care for it much either. So I don't know.
Oh, there was a couple songs. I was like, this really doesn't fit.
Yeah,
scene.
It's odd.
It seemed odd. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely took you out of it. And it's sad too, because it started off with that Johnny Cash song, and I was like, all righty, here we go. I was surprisingly disappointed by that, and I get it. He's taking chances and stuff, and I give him credit for trying, I guess. Let's move into the last little bit here. Let's give a scale on this. Let's rate this movie. We'll start with Eric. Go ahead.
Are we rating it against all DCU movies,
or we're just rating it against what we think of it as a movie? Yeah,
I would definitely watch it again. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Thundero?
Probably about a 6.5. Maybe a 7. I'd say 7's probably better. 6.5, 7, somewhere in there. I'd have to watch it again.
Well,
like I said, the first time I watched it, I passed out. Not because I was bored, but I just got super tired out of nowhere. So I had to go watch the parts I missed. So I need to do a whole watch through, I think. to give a
Right.
good
I think I need to
assessment.
watch it again. And my kids are coming home for the holiday here in a day or two, so maybe I'll watch it again with them. But for me, and the chat's giving their scores, it probably deserves a 6, but I'm going to give it a 5. Because Harley Quinn and the music really, really was a negative for me.
Yeah.
It's probably a 6 though. I'd say it probably is a straight up 6. So it's an average movie. A little bit better if you can ignore the nonsense with the psychiatrist and the odd music. There's some great things in the movie though. That's the problem, because there's times where this movie's a solid 8, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there definitely are times in that movie, but then
Honestly, the first, I don't know, half hour or so of it is fantastic.
oh yeah,
He opens real strong,
Yeah.
and he just doesn't keep that momentum, largely thanks to Harley Quinn. That's just
and
the truth of it.
it's a bit disjointed at times. It is a bit disjointed, but the point being is, this is, I'm going to go ahead and give it the 6 it deserves. So I'm just because I'm particularly hate Harley Quinn, so let's take my opinion out of it and just rate the movie. So it's a 6. And here's the thing: if you look at all the other DCU movies, they're really not good. And they're all there. If they can get a 5, they're kind of grasping at straws, I think. So in that way, it probably is the best DCU movie, maybe, maybe. But these idiots that are going around and saying that this is the best comic book movie of all time, really, really need to have a dirty sock put in their mouth. I mean, are you
now
out of your
based-
freaking mind?
Compared to the first Suicide Squad, it is.
No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying this
no,
is the
no, it's not what they're
best
saying. But if that's
comic
all
book
all
movie
time.
of all time, Eric.
That's lunacy.
crazy.
It's crazy.
Lunacy. Actual lunatic people have made that statement. That's
Yes.
preposterous.
Now,
It's almost, if it wasn't so ridiculous, it'd be offensive, right? Like, it's just
Right.
so. It's silly. You're saying silly things now. These are silly words
it
you're
is
saying.
silly, yeah. Now, Eric's 100% correct, though. It's way better than the first.
Oh, yeah.
The first two.
Yeah, it's not even fair to compare them, to be
It's
honest.
that
It's-
Birds of Prey movie.
I'm gonna
is
give
a-
it a 10 compared to the first one.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, it's way, way better. But then again, you have a director and a writer who knows exactly what they're doing. It's fleshed out well. There are a couple of winks in that movie to you, like, yeah, I know we've had to put this subtle wokeness in, but I'm also going to put a little bit of non-wokeness in, and that's cool,
Yeah.
and it balances it. Because I knew it was going to piss off Booster with me doing that, which is why I went so hard at it. Because the wokeness in this movie is very subtle. It's not going to take you out.
And it's not even offensive. Like,
No, not really.
if we were in a different climate, we probably wouldn't even care. We
Yeah,
would
and
just
if
laughed at it or been like, whatever.
If it was another female character, I would have I would have appreciated it a lot more. It's just Harley Quinn doesn't make any sense, guys. But I did that mainly to piss off Booster, and I won, which is nice. It's always good.
You
Did
two
win?
have
'Cause
this
he's
weird.
He's off with a girl now.
I know.
These two have this weird pseudo father son rivalry thing,
Yeah, I know.
and I hate it. I'm gonna tell you right now because it's just weird. You guys you've never met each other. You live thousands of miles apart, and yet for some reason you bicker like a father and son, and it's so weird.
Well, see, the thing is I'm making up for lost time because I've never had an argument with my son. So, because he's always done exactly what he was supposed to do. So I'm just trying to catch up and trying to live the normal life, you see. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry, Booster. I love you, man. Just I gotta dig where I can. Yeah. So I think overall we're saying that go watch it. It's fun. It is a fun
Yeah.
movie. It's
It
got
is.
some good things in it, and there's some great moments in the movie. Actually, I think unfortunately he did shrink down the ensemble much smaller than he could have. It could have been a much bigger ensemble, but he did shrink it down. But unfortunately, we needed a little bit more Peacemaker and a little bit more Polka Dot Man, I think.
Well, the good news is, if this continues, if he gets his own little deal here, which it seems like was the plan with the end credit scenes, we will get more Peacemaker. But
that's what it seems like.
I don't know, man. Unless those internal numbers at HBO Max are better, I don't think that's happening.
Well, but keep in mind though that they didn't kill him in the movie.
Correct.
right? They did that intentionally so they could leave it open because they probably this deal was going on before the movie was even finished. So they could easily show him walking away from that, right? The way they set
No,
it up.
at the end, they show him alive. He's alive.
Yeah,
Where?
in the
Peacemaker.
hospital.
Yeah, there's an end credit scene. He's alive in the hospital.
I didn't see that. I didn't see the end credit scene.
Yeah, the very end of the credits. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep,
really? I'll have to go back and check.
And little goons, Waller's little goons, go to get him
Oh, okay.
and
All right.
say that they need him to save the world or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, good because I figured that's what they were setting up. Rick Flag is definitely dead. Yeah.
Yes.
Polka Dot Man is definitely dead. I think it's cool that James Gunn gave a little bit of work to Yondu there. That was nice in the beginning.
Yes.
But
Weasel's
boy.
still alive too. He was shown
Yeah, I
to
saw
be
that,
alive
too.
in the.
Yeah, Weasel lives. The Weasel lived.
I don't know what the hell that character was supposed to be, but whatever. That was just a body horror creep stuff, and that's something that's interesting. Of course, this is coming from James Gunn's history. The stuff he's done from the
Yeah.
beginning, body horror, right? And there was several body horror scenes in this movie that were pretty good, actually.
That's his brother. His brother played.
He must really love his brother.
He
Yeah.
played the Weasel. See, I was thinking, well, his
plays
brother,
something in all of his movies.
well, yeah, but his brother was awesome in the Guardians movie. He takes over
Yeah.
from Yondu for being the new Archer, and he's actually not a bad actor. So what do you want? But yeah, go watch this movie. You'll enjoy it. I'm pretty sure you will.
It's fun.
And apparently
it's a fun movie.
Him and Sylvester Stallone get along because he was in the
Clearly.
second Guardians movie, and I don't think anybody saw that coming. I had no idea he was in that movie until I was like, "What the shit? What's he doing here?
Yeah.
He's in the MCU."
Yeah.
Well, he is. I hope we see more of him. Actually, they could actually do something cool with that whole deal. What are they called? What are they called? The Marauders? What are they called?
Not the Marauders. The original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but the tribes. that
Reavers.
they-
The Reavers.
The
Reavers.
I see. The Reavers.
They could almost do a little series with that.
They
I
could.
mean, if they're looking to make shit, there you go. Make some cool space piracy shit. That could be sweet.
Yeah, but I agree with you. But the comment I made earlier, don't you guys think this would have been better as like a 4 or 6 part series? I mean,
I don't think so. I don't think this would have, but I think they could have a series, like you said, with Ag, Waller developing other smaller criminals, like a little, then build up to a bigger, like a movie every
Yeah,
couple of
sure.
years. But
Yeah,
maybe
I
like
think the
like
problem-
that. Yeah.
That you have with that is still the problem with this movie, and it's the Harley Quinn character. She's the worst part of it. She drags it down. The only part that's kind of cool is her little gun fu scene. That's kind of cool. But other than that, she's just kind of a drag on the film. And if they would have made more about her, I think she would have just been more of a drag because it's played out. She's not written well. She comes off as a complete moron, and she's not funny.
Yeah.
Like, what is the purpose of this character? I get Idris Elba, right? He's supposed to be the patriarchal character, the protector, the father, the guy, the hero, the hero's journey. He goes on the arc. Fine. Peacemaker is the zealot, right?
Yes.
He is.
Yes, he is.
That's what he is. He's zealot, and he will do the job that he's sent to do. He's the double agent. I get the archetypes of all these characters. What the hell was Harley's archetype? What was she supposed to be other than annoying?
People
'Cause
supposedly
she was.
like her, I guess. Because imagine that gung fu scene, as you call it, with another
Yeah.
character, like even another female character. Because you can't, she's a psychiatrist. She's not a trained combatant. It doesn't make
Correct.
any sense she's doing that. If you had a trained combatant female doing that scene, it would have been cool. The only good thing about that scene, I think, was they had the little Disney-esque cartoon stuff being painted around showing her insanity. And therefore, it helps me because I could basically say, oh, she didn't actually do that. She was just in her head.
Which actually would have been hilarious subversive twist that
Yeah.
James Gunn should have done.
Yeah.
That when she walks out and runs into the other guys, they look down the hall and they don't see any bodies or anything. And they're like, hell? like she's taught, like have her mention she just killed all these guys in here or whatever. And they just look in there, there's nobody dead. And they're like, Okay, because she's she's crazy, right?
Well, he was
That would've
hinting
been
at that
great.
with the cartoon stuff, right? I think. But whatever. Definitely go check out the movie. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's-
Let's see here. I did have a few other things. We're kind of on time though. This is just talking about the Peacemaker getting the HBO series, which could be cool. It could be cool. He's going to need.
Commentary on society, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
boy.
whatever. But James Gunn's going to do it, and they're going to have a good supporting cast around him to allow him to do his thing. But it could be good,
Yep.
dude.
Could be.
It could
Yeah.
be good. It could be good because he is the zealot without question. People are angry about the what if thing and Captain Carter who looks like a man. Of course she does.
course.
Yeah, this is ultra woke shit. It's incredibly ultra woke. But you know what? It's what if. Who cares? I mean, literally, what if? So, it is ultra woke, sure, but I don't really care. Do you guys care?
I don't
mean,
care
it's
about
what
it.
if.
like
looking forward to
Marvel
watch
does.
it.
Yeah, it might be
I will
okay.
say this. I will say the day that Stan the Man passed is the day that Marvel died for me. And every decision they've made since has solidified that choice.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah.
just glad that thankfully he isn't here to see what's being done.
And can someone
And
explain? Go
yeah.
ahead. No,
No, go ahead.
I would love someone to explain to me how this American military officer is wearing a British Union Jack on her uniform. Someone explain that to me.
There's
What
no
if?
rules anymore. There's no rules.
It's what if.
Yeah, maybe she's British
Thank you,
now.
Eric. I'm glad Eric
Why
caught
not?
that. Eric's a good man. Yeah, it's what if, guys. Who cares what they do with it? They can be. This is where they should be ultra woke. Go ahead and do whatever kind of crazy thing you want in what if because it's what if, right? So I understand people are angry about it, but I could care less, dude. This is where they should be doing this craziness. Anyway, Gen Con down for another year. Oh well, because you can't go unless you got something to prove you're vaccinated. By the way,
Oh
Yeah.
Lord. Well, I had no intention to go anyway.
so
but
2 years down.
thank you for again solidifying my choices. I like that the world just keeps reinforcing my decisions lately. I love that. Thank you, world. Thanks.
Yeah, and keep in mind, those of you who don't know Gen Con, it is one of the biggest conventions in the world, and
Yeah,
it's
it
down
was.
2 years in a row. This is
Yeah.
going to kill it. They were just starting to get their legs behind them too. And this goes in line what we're seeing in France. They literally have cops randomly walking around the streets asking for your papers. I shit you not.
Yes.
Buzz! Hey,
Yeah, they're
Buzz!
Nazis. They're just, call them what they are. They're Nazis.
I mean, can you believe that, Eric?
Well, unfortunately, I can't believe it because that's what they're doing.
It is.
I can't believe the French are putting up with it.
Oh,
I mean,
they're
they
not,
are
dude.
resisting,
They're rioting,
but-
dude.
I am
They're not happy
surprised
about
somebody hasn't been guillotined yet. This is
Well,
France, for fuck's sake. This is
you
what they
saw-
do.
You saw a few days ago a big old petition came out signed by a bunch of ex-generals and politicians and said if the government does not start enforcing the laws, because they don't want new laws, they just want them to enforce the laws that exist,
Yep.
there will be a military coup in this country. They threatened
Yep.
a military coup.
They should.
And that's where
Do
it's
it.
at with France, guys, by the way. And keep in mind, France has had way more terrorist deaths than anybody else. Outside of the Middle East, because they're constantly killed themselves there. But as far as Western countries, France is 6 times as many death from terrorism, dude. It's really bad.
Yep.
Or incidents. I understand America had that big bang at the 9/11, but you know what I mean. Anyway, have this one. So then we have this is good. What do you think about this, Thunder?
I like him.
Yeah.
I have no desire to watch a Batgirl show, though. Or a movie or whatever
this
it's going to
is
be.
HBO Batgirl, not CW. So it means
I know, but Batgirl, she's a weak character. I'm sorry, Batgirl stands. She is. We haven't had a fucking Nightwing show. How is that possible? How?
Yeah, that's true.
How is there not a Nightwing show? But we get Batgirl. We get 2 Batgirls. Before we get one Nightwing, everybody loves Dick Grayson. Everybody.
What does Stan have to do with Batgirl? I don't understand.
No, standing is what they call being a super fan. It's called being a stan.
Why?
I don't make the rules,
Why
Chester.
do we need a new
That's just the
name?
rule.
We have one already.
I don't
It's
make
called Fan.
I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. It's their world. I'm living in it.
Fine.
But he is in incredible shape. Did you see him in that Tomorrow War movie?
Oh yeah.
Oh God,
Oh, yeah,
he was
dude.
buff.
He was.
Boys,
Dude.
Jack.
But the thing is, I like this guy. We all like this guy because he's a great actor. He was, in my opinion, my favorite Commissioner Gordon. I liked him a lot. And the Dark Knight series guy was pretty good too. But this guy I liked. And I want more of him. And hopefully we'll get the actual real Batgirl. I understand what you're saying about Batgirl. I get it. But she does have an important arc in the DC Comics. She does. She is important.
Yeah, she's got one. Nightwing's got 50.
No, I understand.
We can't get a
that.
Nightwing. We can't get Nightwing anything.
We should
He's
have
the most-
Nightwing. I
He's
agree.
probably the most popular character in the. He definitely is in the Bat family besides Batman.
Right.
And we can't get nothing. We can't get nothing. Nothing with him. Nothing. Why? Everybody loves Nightwing. I have never heard a person say they don't like Dick Grayson. Maybe that person exists, but I don't believe him because, as far as I know, everybody likes Dick Grayson. He's a great character. He's the only, besides the big guys, the only sidekick who still is around that matters as the original character, right?
Yeah.
Dick Grayson. Because he's awesome. He's a great character that everybody likes. Women love him. Like, I know there's a whole lot of women who would read Nightwing stuff and read Teen Titans stuff because Nightwing was in it because they thought he was sexy.
Yeah, because he is.
Just say it.
Even
He's
the-
Nightwing. He's awesome. We should have a Nightwing show, but instead we get two Batgirls, and neither one of them are going to be anywhere near like Batgirl.
Unfortunately, yeah. But Jiminy says he's only halfway through the Suicide Squad, and he's 7 out of 10. I think most people are going to rate it 6 to 7. I mean, it's sitting
Yeah.
at 8 right now. I think that's too high. But 6 to 7 is fair for that movie. And Roger asked me, what's the situation in Taiwan? Well, the Taiwanese, their military is on alert. They have their military ready to go. The Americans, of course, are nearby. Many countries have sent military ships to the Sea of China, the Chinese Sea. There's a lot of we're very close to action happening. However, and also the Chinese have been bulking up. They've been doing a lot more recruitment. They're trying to put a lot more boots on the ground. However, I think they're just flag waving because I don't think they're going to pull that trigger. However, tensions are higher than even higher than they were during Mao. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you exactly, but the armies are ready.
I have a question, Chester. Japan's right there,
Yep.
right? And they have the third most powerful navy in the world. Second, really, because China's is a joke. Do they just say fuck it and intervene even though they're not supposed to protect Taiwan? Because we can't. The reality is China cannot take Taiwan or they win. That's it. They will have all of the power they need to just fully dominate the world. The U.S. won't be able to stop them without direct violent intervention because they'll control the microchips.
They won't have to, is the answer. Because if there is action, they will just be part of an alliance, and therefore it'll be fine. Because the people who are closest to cracking on the Chinese are the Indians, actually. The Indians have had enough of their shit, dude.
And
They've
believe
had
it or not,
enough
the Indians
of
are
their-
actually pretty fucking good at war. I know
Yeah,
that sounds crazy, but they can fight. They have literally the best fighters in the world a part of their military. They're better than Americans. And they're the ones how are they called? They use them really curved knives that the British used for a long time after they conquered India.
the Gurkha.
They get them from those. Yeah. They get them from them because they're the best fighters in the world. They're insane. They're
the
every
Sikhs
action hero you've
particularly
ever
are really
seen.
good. Yeah.
They actually are that. They'll go and take 40 men on by themselves and win. They're nuts.
They are.
And they have a whole groups of these people on their side to the point that when there was an actual violent skirmish between the Japanese and the Indians I think it was last year or the year before,
China.
and they didn't the Chinese. They didn't shoot each other. There was no live fire. They fought. It was a literal violent melee. The Indians wiped the floor with them.
Yeah,
Wiped the floor with them.
20 Indians dead, 70 Chinese. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't. This is why I think. Yes, we don't want China to get Taiwan, obviously, but I don't think they're really going to try. I think it's all just a feint so they can push further east or further west because that's what they are concerned with. They have this huge project to build a massive highway and trainway into the Middle East to get the oil and do all kinds of things. I don't think they're actually concerned with as much of their other side as they pretend they are. I think it's a feint. To be
It
honest,
is
the
a feint.
Chinese are master deception like
Oh,
that.
sure.
That's how they win wars. So I think
Uh,
that's all it is.
But however, keep in mind that in the Chinese Sea right now, you have Indian warships, you have American warships, you have Japanese warships, you have German warships, you have British warships. All of
Yep.
those things are in the sea right now, right?
Yep.
So yeah, things are hot. For damn sure, but I don't think that trigger will be pulled. The problem, the real decision on that is going to come down to the people of China, actually, because the Chinese government keeps screwing up, and their whole thing is to keep the people quiet, right? That's what they try to do. They don't want noise. They're afraid of their own people more than anything. And there's been some bad things happen, and the economy is literally built on paper pillars. You have these flooding that's gone on. A lot of people have died, and the local communist leadership basically broke dams to protect their infrastructure and killed. Well, of course, they're saying it's just a few dead, but it's thousands dead. Right? The Chinese are pissed off about it, as they should be, and that's one of the problems the Communist Party has. They need to keep this control, keep it quiet, but their local communist leaders are corrupt assholes that are just constantly ginning up the population. And the CCP, the main government, needs to get that under control, or they're going to lose the country. They are, and if they lose the country, what you're going to see is China break into probably 3 to 5 pieces, I'd say. But yeah, no, it's not a good situation. It certainly is not, Roger.
That would be a great situation if China broke into 3 to 5 pieces. That part of it would be fantastic.
It
That
could
would be
be
great
for
for
them,
everybody
it could.
involved.
Yeah, for them.
It'd be great for the Han Chinese. It'd be great for the rest of the world. It would also. The only one that we shouldn't want to break up like that is Russia. Russia needs to stay Russia because there is just too much dangerous shit in Russia, and
That's true,
there's
yeah.
without Putin. The reality is, without Putin there, we don't know what Russia will turn into. It could turn into some crazy shit real quick.
Well, I would
And-
suggest when they kill Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, you see what Russia would become. Same thing would
Yeah.
happen.
The problem is Russia has ICBMs, and it would become a rogue state with ICBMs, and that's not good for anybody.
Yeah, no. Did you guys see the Satan 2 that came out a few years back? Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
That will take out not only your city, but all the suburbia around it, dude.
Yeah, it's a beast. It's a
it's
literal monster.
ridiculous, yeah. Anyway, but thanks for the question, Roger. Let's move on. So we had this. I like the actor. I want to see more of him.
Yeah,
and if
he's
we get an
great as Omni-Man as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Fantastic as Omni-Man.
and if he's and if we get an actual good Batgirl, it could be fun. And then I just want to make a comment on this.
Transgender city council member starts row with
Row.
local Washington Star Wars shop owner over transphobic sign. Transphobic
Oh, I heard about
sign.
this.
Yeah, we've all seen
This man is a hero. This man is the the type of men that raised me, that I grew up with. I've said this before, but my uncle was a 2-time Vietnam vet, Green Beret. These are the type of men that we've lost in America,
Yeah.
that I don't even consider myself worthy of, and they're still lesser than my grandfather's generation were of men. This guy is a legend, and he needs to be protected, and thankfully he was. They tried to do big protests out in front of his shop and harass him, and a whole bunch of people said, nah, that's not happening, and they canceled it. They'll probably try again, but we'll see. But no, this was awesome. It was amazing exchange between a crazy person, trans or not, just a crazy person, genuinely crazy person, clearly crazy person, and a sane man trying to stand up for himself, basically. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing to see. And of course, if you watch the one video at the end, some stupid white woman has to interject. Listen, white ladies, shut up.
Yeah,
white men need to start telling you to shut the hell up more. Just shut up.
But here's the thing, guys. I love women. I know I do a lot of jokes here, and I try to be edgelordy and stuff, and for the fun of it, and it's all well and good. However, I love women in general. I don't care if they're pretty or not, fat or thin. I don't care. I like women. Most of my The funnest parts of my job is interacting with the older female students and stuff like that. I love women in general. I even love the sound of them just sitting back listening to them gossip. I love the sound of women. This dude is giving ugly women a bad name.
Yeah, if you love women so much, take this off the screen, please. I'm going through it.
You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me, dude. What the hell are you
I've just
doing?
checked my blood pressure. It's shot through the roof, Chester. What are you doing to me with this picture? What are you trying to do? This is torture, sir. This might be a violation of the Nuremberg Code. What are you
Well,
doing?
it could be. You're right with that. This looks like a fun shop too. But
It does. actually.
he
Old
is a
nerd,
hero
vet.
for sure.
Love him. We need more of him. We need a million more just like him, but maybe
Yeah.
not 80 years old. Maybe, 30, 40, where we can get some actual,
Yeah.
get
This
some
looks
stuff
like
done.
This looks like a great shop, man. I'd love to go just check it out, man. It looks
I need
fun.
to actually ask, I don't know if he's listening or not, but Crypto, our friend Crypto Comics, he lives in Washington, and
Uh-huh.
he's on a city council in a small town in
Oh, is he?
Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think it's this town. It could be, but I don't think so. I need to ask him if he has any insider knowledge on this. I will, and try to get back to you on it.
Yeah.
Because this man right here is a national treasure in every way. Like, this shop's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
His story's cool. He's a great man. Period.
Yeah. No,
And you have freaks like this with a nose that looks like it was put in some sort of wine press coming into his shop and harassing him for a joke
well, just keep in mind
that everybody knows is mostly just a tongue-in-cheek joke, and this person just can't the apoplexia is overwhelming because they can't handle not being constantly validated by every single thing in society 24/7 365.
Well, and that's true. Keep in mind that this is a councilman in this local
Yeah.
town. And I do love the stubble on the neck and the fact that you nicked yourself shaving this morning, sir. But it's outrageous. And if you haven't seen the video, just go check it out. The interaction. This person came in to try to set him up and to try to basically get his business burned down. We know how this is an Antifa person, right? And they admit this. This is not an assumption on my part. But it's just like, I don't really care if you want to dress up like a lady every day. Go ahead, dude. I don't care what you do. But stop
Yeah.
telling other people what they have to do. Stop it. Right? Now, to be fair, this sign that he put up, where is it here? I think it's above it actually. This sign he put up, it is rough. It is rough. Let's be fair. Just
Yeah.
out Dr. Seuss's new book because he's pushing back about all the idiots that were trying to cancel Dr. Seuss, right? And in the middle, he puts, "If you are born with a dick, you are not a chick." Period. Factual statement. This new release is out now. Became the cancel culture's banned his earlier books. That's not really well written, sir, but whatever.
This
He's
is
ba-
because
yeah, well, and he's just basically selling and trying to defend Dr. Seuss is what he's doing, and good on him. But this middle one is what has upset her. If you are born with a dick, you are not a chick, which is true. And the thing that I find ironic that I hear all the time, and this lady says it in this rant she has to this guy, is that trans women are real women, trans people, the trans community. She keeps using this, and she's correct, or he's correct. You are a trans person. You're not a woman. You're trans. You are correct. You've said this many times correctly. Where you're incorrect is saying that you're an actual real woman. You're not. Now, here's the thing. Me personally, if I run into one of these people and they're polite and nice, I have no trouble calling them she. I'm okay with that out of politeness. If you push me because you're rude or you push me for some legal reason, no way. No way. Right? Because I'm not going to lie for you. I can tell a white lie to be polite to you, sure. But I'm not going to lie for you. And all these laws that people are trying to pass that if you misgender someone, you get fined or something like that, that is ridiculous. You cannot adjudicate me to the point that I have to lie to be legal. You cannot do that. I mean, is anyone going to back that up? Who's going to back that
They
up?
will try. They will continue to try. No, every single time you cross a bridge where you try to compel speech, you've lost. Whatever you were fighting for as a country, if you stood for anything when it comes to the human condition, you've lost at that point. Compelled speech is wrong, and I will not be compelled to speak on anyone's behalf or for anyone else that is against my conscience for any reason. And that's really the issue. On an individual level, I don't think anybody really cares about the pronoun thing too much. But on a
really,
political
no.
level, yeah, we care a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Because we know that it has nothing to do with these people. They're nothing but freaking useful idiots. They're a political weapon. They're a political tool. So authoritarians can come in and say, well, hate speech now is defined as, saying you don't believe the government. Wait, what? Yeah, no, you can't say that anymore, or you go to jail.
Right. Well,
Excuse me?
yeah, it's ridiculous. And another thing about this guy, you can tell he's a newer transgender. I know he slapped some tits on him, but that doesn't take you can do that pretty quickly. But the thing is clearly a newer transgender. He's an older dude, so he's got more estrogen flowing. He should be taking hormone shots. That's what they do, right? But he's still growing the beard full out because you can see the nicks on and the razor rash on his neck. I mean, right
God,
here.
he's ugly.
He is ridiculously ugly. However, another reason I say he's new is because he hasn't learned the makeup thing. Dude, go talk to a lady. They'll tell you how to fix that.
Yep.
I mean, what are
Whole
you
bunch
doing?
of white women would be glad to teach you how to do it.
Oh my
because
God,
they're
dude, they just
horrible.
fawn all over you. Yeah.
See, I got lucky. I found a sane one. They're still out there. They're just hard to find. A lot of them are Irish, actually, Irish descent. There you go. There's a hack, a life hack. But white men, guys, listen, bud, guys, we gotta get our shit. We gotta get our women in line. It's just that they're out of control. They're insane. They're insufferable. They've become a meme, and they don't care. We gotta get it. Like this video is a perfect example of it. If you watch the whole thing, at the end of it, some white woman butts in, sticks her nose in where she has no business being involved in, and just why? It has nothing to do with you, sweetheart. Take your weird-looking kind of a guy. He looks like Wally, a Wally character, that man that you call a man that you have with you, and go somewhere else and let this old man and this person have their argument. It's not your business. My point is white women need to start minding their business. That's my point. Well, mind your business. What happened to that? What happened in society? When I was growing up, I was taught to mind my business. Yeah. Don't involve myself where I'm not wanted.
Well, we do see a lot of that entitlement going on. I saw a thing the other day where there was this guy who does like body fitness YouTube, and he's very popular. He's become quite rich off of it. And they were in this coffee shop, and this literal brain surgeon who's a fan of it, and it works out. And they were just having a chat about how much of a fan he was, and how he's gotten his body. And thank you very much. You've helped me out. Yada yada yada. They're just having a conversation, right? And this black lady comes in, and she has to butt in to make sure that they understand that she is in a master grad program at Georgetown. It's like, lady, fuck off.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Who are you? Go away.
Yeah.
Fall off a bridge. Who are you? Go away.
Yeah. Well, but with the Irish
before we leave here, though, we have to see something real quick.
Okay.
Our boy Eric has been trolling you without you knowing it in the Discord chat.
Yeah.
And he's drawn some pictures here that I think you will appreciate. You need to see them. I'm going to bring them up right now. Hang on. Here it comes.
All righty.
1 second.
They're based on a booster quote.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, no, go ahead. There it is. I see SJWs everywhere.
You see the little yacht on the wall?
Yeah, I do. And I got the Chester thing. I'm dressed in 19th century pajamas. Nice.
Little booster kiwi peeking out of the side. I love it.
Yeah. Well, the problem is because they are everywhere. Yeah. But the thing with the
it would seem.
It would seem. The thing with the interesting, you mentioned the Irish, because you got to keep in mind the Irish were during that whole, because like we keep coming back to the slavery thing, you realize that there were 250,000 slaves bought outside and bought into America, right? But
Yes.
there was also 250,000 Irish brought over as indentured servants, right? And the Irish are always treated like a third-class citizen in America, even in various migration waves later, always, right? So the Irish, whether the modern ones understand this or not, they're kind of like the Eastern Europeans. You see the Eastern Europeans pushing back against this destruction of nationalism, destruction of the family, this socialist push. But the Poles, the Romanians, the Hungarians, these guys that had to deal with Russia, they're like, well, dude, we've already seen that. We know it's not good, right? So the Irish, in a way, have some of that similar understanding that the Baltics do. So fair enough. You're going to get some pushback in that way, I think. But anyway, thank you very much, Eric. That was very nice. A little picture of me. So that's good.
Would you like me to send you a high res so you can print it out and hang it up somewhere, like a refrigerator?
No, I don't know why I'm Chester McBusby now. Thank you very much, Film Video. But poor Booster.
Busby actually sounds like it could be an Irish or Scottish name.
It's actually Norwegian. It's Bushibi.
Yeah.
And it's one of the rarest names in the world. There's only 1,200 of us on the planet. My family, long before the Danehold or any of those kind of things, they were in up around York and Renfrewshire and stuff like that. So there is a history of Scotland in our family. That's for sure.
See, I just know things, Chester. I just know them. I don't know how. I just do.
Mhm.
It's best to just accept that I'm right.
And of course,
It's just easier.
that's fair
I've
enough.
found in life it's easier for everybody just to accept it.
Fair enough. And of course, my mom's a Conley, so
Oh
you
yes,
don't get much
we
more
know.
Irish than that.
We know she's a Connolly.
So but anyway, yeah, all right. Thank you guys very much. Interesting today. We spent a lot more time on a movie. I kind of liked it though. I didn't like breaking it down like that. Did you guys enjoy that?
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was fun.
I really liked it.
Especially
hear
since
that,
we all liked it pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I think so.
that's a pleasant twist on things, to be honest. And it sucks that it has to be James Gunn to do it, and it also kind of sucks that it flopped because it would be nice to see more of that. But we probably will at least get to see the show, and James Gunn seems to be involved in that, so we'll see what happens. From what I understand, and we talked about this earlier, Rabbit has changed DNQFE to Bleach to commemorate the 20th anniversary.
Sounds fun.
And the new manga that's eventually coming out. I don't know if there's been a date announced. And the new anime or the continuation of the old anime that's coming.
Mhm.
So that'll be cool. I'm pretty excited about that. It's a good stream, I think. I think it's a nice, positive stream. So you had a lot of people for a long time say, all you guys ever do is just bitch. You just shit on everything. I'm doing my best, Todd.
That's such a good imitation.
Yeah, it was good.
Because he's a
I could
very
even
heavy
hear the
man.
cholesterol.
Yeah, and you can
You
tell
weren't
that
breathing heavy enough.
Yeah, I can't. I'm in too good a shape. So we're trying to find things that we like. And I think one thing I would like to do, anybody who's in the Discord, post some stuff you like. And we'll talk about it.
Yeah, sure.
It could be anything. It could be old, it can be new, it could be coming up, anything. Like today we had a long little segment where I just ranted about Bleach, my favorite manga, my favorite anime, for, 20 minutes, whatever it was. I love it. I'll always love it. It was my gateway drug into that world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super glad and super excited it's coming back. It deserves to. Tite Kubo, the creator of it, is one of the most influential mangaka ever, to the point that most of the major ones, or the two of the big major ones that are out right now that are taking over everything, they directly credit him for their influence. And it's great to see at least Japan is sane enough to reward competence still, whereas the West has just evolved into a crazy crab bucket of silliness.
That's true.
But Japan still rewards competence, and I appreciate that very much. The capitalist, meritocratic person inside of me appreciates that. and it's good to see. So we're going to try and do more things that we like. We're going to try and not be, because I think a big problem is everybody in our sphere got into this routine of just shitting on everything. And that's fun for a while, but it doesn't get you anywhere. At the end of the day, you have to present the solution. You have to present the alternative. Why is this so bad? Well, because this exists, and this is awesome. That's why that's so bad. And I think we're going to focus on that more. I would like to. The problem is I don't have any real social media anymore, and neither does Chester.
No.
We would like to get guests back on and talk about their stuff. So if anybody knows anything or knows anyone or can get in contact with anybody who has something cool coming out, we'd love to talk to them.
We would.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I got a new mic. It's a much better mic. I can already tell. People aren't saying I'm screaming every 2 seconds in the chat now.
You sound really good. It sounds really good.
Yeah.
And I think we're at a point, and I called this
Well, I
when
mean,
we
you
first
guys
started
need all
this.
the help you can get. So.
Yeah, of course. Well, I called this when I first started this that we're near the end of this stuff. This is we're tailing off and the worst of it. There's still going to be some of it, but the worst of it, to where it's just insufferable and terrible, and nobody likes it. And I think we're coming to that point.
No, and to be fair, in this movie, there definitely is some subtle wokeness, but there's also pushback against it, which is good.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have a laugh at it is more of a more healthy way to do it. And so I agree with that 100%. And it's also nice to sit and have a conversation because talking about it amongst ourselves certainly softened my anger toward it, right?
It's good though. That's a good thing because the real reason, and we all agreed that the thing that angered you, we all agreed sucked. It was the worst part of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. And I think we built a nice little community over here. We have a whole bunch of people who are always over here. And I just want that to flourish. I want that to grow. I'm not trying to say we're going to get rich. That's never been a goal here. Some people have wanted that or whatever. We're going to make it big. I don't care about that. I don't want to be famous. I just want to be able to help influence our culture. That's what, Chester, if you remember, that was what I was about when we first started this. I'm more about influencing culture, not so much about comic books in general.
That and Ethan's a dick.
Well, no, at first I liked Ethan, but then he stabbed me in the back. But everything else, that's where I want us to go. Like I said, I've started to be more creative personally. I've started working on stuff I've always wanted to do, and I just always had an excuse why I didn't do it. And then one day I just did it. I just sat down and started it, and I love it, and I don't want to stop. And I think there's a lot of people like that around us at all times. Eric's a great example of it. Booster's an example of it. We were both pressuring Booster to do something. He's really smart. He's a talented dude, even though we pick on him. It's just jokes. I know. I hope he doesn't take it personally.
Oh, he does. He does. He's a millennial.
Well, sometimes.
What do you want?
Sometimes he does.
He's a
well,
millennial.
so am I. But I'm basically a 95-year-old curmudgeon in a 36-year-old man's body. But I just want there to be more positive vibes coming from everybody. Some people told me yesterday they really liked the show because it was much more positive. And it seems like the point I was trying to get to, the culture shifting back our way. That we may have possibly rode the worst of this out. Maybe not, but I think my original prediction was correct. That 2022, 2023 is when this will really die off. It'll still be there. There'll still be a lot of there'll still be subtle subversion, kind of like this movie. That'll probably not go right away entirely anyway. But most of it's starting to die off.
Yeah.
And that's a great sign. That's a great thing for everybody who's been bitching on the internet for 4 years now. Yeah. Right? Well, that's what we want. We want this over and just give us something we can love again, for Christ's sake.
You know what I'd like to do next I don't know if we'll do in the comic book. We could do it in the comic book one. I'd like to do another movie breakdown, Nobody.
Oh, I've never seen it. Is it good?
It's getting rave review. I'm going to watch it here in the next couple of days with my wife. It's from the Better Call Saul guy. He got himself in a ridiculous condition for it. Of course, he just had a heart attack, so he may have pushed it too much. But
steroids, probably,
I hear it's awesome. I'm going to watch it in the next couple of days. I suggest you guys watch it, and we talk about it next week.
Let's do it. And then what we should do, since we both watched it, is Tomorrow War the week after. There you go. Because you watched Tomorrow War, right?
I did.
Said you liked it?
I overall liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think we could do a nice little, just like we did tonight. It's a good movie. I'd spoiler. It's just a movie. It's what we said we want. It's just a movie. It's an action monster movie. Awesome.
Yeah,
More
straight
of that,
up.
please.
It's a monster movie. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
What it is it's the Thing, but fleshed out and giving you all the information. Really.
Yes.
Let's see here. Middle Earth Storytime says, one cautions perhaps some of those shouting loudest about preserving our beloved Western culture can't be bothered to read Macbeth or Hemingway, nor even have read a sentence of the Republic. Fair enough, dude. But you're expecting these people to read.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, and Jiminy, don't you dare put Poindexter on Booster. He doesn't deserve it.
It is funny how often I mix you guys up because it's really just because the stir at the end of both of your name and his gimmick.
Yeah.
And I do it even just in private to him. I'll start calling him Chester. It pisses him off. He's like, "I'm not calling me Chester."
You should
Still do that
more.
all the time.
Do that more. Yeah, more of that, please. Anyway, guys, it's time. We got to get out of here. Thank you all very much. It was a lot of fun. Keep in mind, tomorrow we are doing our D&D thing. It should be fun. Then on the Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course, we are doing Bleach Anniversary Edition. That's going to be fun. And, there's some good characters there to draw. And I'm honorably happy because there are plenty of big booby ladies in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Orihime.
awesome. Oh, God. Don't.
And Orihime's all grown up now, and them boobies are looking good.
That's
the
true.
man likes to draw big boobies, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, so do I. All right, guys. So any closing comments, Eric?
Closing comics? Yes. Just go out and enjoy some movies. It's just entertainment. Don't get all wrapped up in it, and especially like the Suicide Squad. It was just be fun.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. Thundero?
I have a very simple thing to say. I was watching Tucker Carlson's little speech he gave in Hungary to some people about architecture. It was beautiful, and it's absolutely correct. And my response to it was, I would rather live poor and surrounded by the bounty and beauty of nature than die rich, surrounded by the bounty and ugly of man. Beauty is the measure of the universe's wonder and the measure of man's love. You know it when you see it because you know it without seeing it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that's where we're going to leave it right there. Namaste.
Later, guys.